Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. North American stock futures back in positive territory, coming off a bit of a mixed session on Tuesday. We had the S&P and the Dow snapped 7-session winning streaks yesterday, both finishing in negative territory, while the NASDAQ did close slightly higher at all-time highs, in fact. We'll talk about the NASDAQ coming up a little bit here. It was banking shares in the energy group, though, that led the decliners for the rest of the market yesterday, both to the downside. Crude oil started the day at a 6-year high, faded the entire session. We're up about 2% again this morning. So energy stocks and some of the banks back in focus once again this morning. As I mentioned, though, 0.2% advance for the NASDAQ, led by that impressive move from Amazon, breaking out of a 19-month consolidation. Set multiple all-time highs throughout the session. We'll talk about some big tech stocks coming up. The 10-year back in focus as well. Fell 7.2 basis points on Tuesday, 1.36, its lowest level since February. The retail trader focus group continues to expand. We'll talk about DTST, CPOP as well, making moves again this morning in the pre-market. Fed minutes coming up as well this afternoon at 2 p.m. Lots to get to. It's Wednesday, July 7th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. There we go. Look at how things stand at this point. You can see the NASDAQ trying to lead once again. The Dow and S&P back in positive territory. Impressive move, 0.6% already for tech stocks back in all-time high territory. Brazil's open already, trading up about 1%. You can see crude oil basically flat after making big moves yesterday. Bitcoin and Ethereum back in positive territory as well. Going to be an interesting one ahead of Fed minutes coming up at 2 p.m. as we mentioned. Good morning, guys. It is Wednesday, not Tuesday. We had a long holiday weekend. I read an interesting little data point, I guess, after market yesterday, which was a bit of a starter, I guess, for a conversation today. 31% of NASDAQ-listed stocks yesterday made all-time highs, while the overall index also made an all-time high. That was the lowest number ever of individual stocks also making all-time highs, while the overall index made an all-time high on the session. But I mean, we talked about Amazon making huge moves, Microsoft, Apple. I mean, just shows the strength in those three names alone.
Yeah, it's the top heavy in nature, and that's something we've talked about here. One of those that you named, one of those three that you named, has not made a break to a recent high or breakout of a recent high, and that will be Apple. So it still has some room to run there before you start getting into some uncharted territories there. It's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, we talk about the Fed coming with the minutes. Is there a chance for a shock? There was one. I mean, a semi one in April. If they talk about tapering, there's been such a move down in yields, and that's what's boded well, because with yields down, everyone piles into the FANG names. We keep saying FANG. We're having this discussion. Why are we talking about Netflix? It's an old acronym. So if we say it, you know what we're talking about. We're really talking about Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft should be in there, of course, and Alphabet as well. AMC is going to be a bit of a talk today, because it's breaking out of its recent range, and it's not to the upside. So AMC trading below that $50 mark. Looks like it's an actual mover here today, so we could be back at looking at that, as there are other meme names also on the run. Should be a good one. Sean, I know you got to be celebrating. England just needs to get it done today as well after a nice win by Italy.
Yeah, I think England, obviously, yeah, congratulations to everybody watching soccer. It was a fun time. Brendan knows about all the horns that were in Little Italy last night. We were already talking about that. It was a fun time. I mean, Toronto's a huge Italian community, so that was great. And, it was fun. But I'm too old to go out and party, but we will try to party when it's going to be Italy-England, hopefully coming out through the finals in Wembley. So I think this is all set up quite nicely for England, but I still think Italy, that should be a great game. You talked about major tech stocks there, Brendan, and I just think that this Microsoft, I have no idea. I mean, we saw the NASDAQ move to the downside yesterday, and so did Microsoft, came all the way down to 275.50. but then, you know, a nice little run back in the rest of the afternoon. And then right now it looks like we're ready to take out this high. So it's on the sticky note here today for 279.50. The thing I want to bring everyone's attention to was we missed this trade yesterday early because it pulled all the way back, and we talked about wanting to make this trade again. It pulled all the way back to 277.50, which was the close of the day before. So you could have got long there and then took that for $1.50 or so long upside before cratering back in. We wouldn't have been caught in this because we would have got out at that level right there anyways, 277.50. So, but now we're looking like with the NASDAQ up 0.54% today, I like Microsoft to the long side, and I want to bring everyone's attention to, again, another swing play that I talked about yesterday. We only gave one, I gave two basically. It was Clover, and there was that Zila that I liked as well for a long. But Clover today, you're up that 6% on a swing. And why? Is because yesterday afternoon, we were sitting here trading this thing and we were watching it, and my executions aren't there, but we were short, you know, you guys remember at 3 o'clock there, we were short trying to break this 10. It never broke it. It kept holding. It eventually broke, went to 997. Okay, and then when we saw that, I said, okay, you know, hopefully it's a hold there overnight. And then you come, we're not allowed to hold it, or else you'd see long Clover right now, $10, but it's up to 10.60. So we're going to look to see if that can take it out. But there it is, another 6% on an overnight swing trade. Just another reason why you should be watching us for our closing show, Brendan, 3:15, baby.
Yeah, come back this afternoon. Going to be an interesting day once again, especially after 2 p.m. when we get those Fed minutes. So we'll talk about that definitely this afternoon. So again, 3:15, come join us. Before we go any further, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning, guys. I hope you had your coffee yet and ready for a productive start of this day. Please don't forget to like this video right now, and let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed, guys, get it started. It is going to be, I guess, a little bit of a cautious approach, maybe going into the morning ahead of those Fed minutes coming up at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Although we are seeing, again, tech stocks trying to lead back to the upside, as we said, coming off of yesterday's performance. Do we see a return to pre-pandemic type trading once again here, guys, with the NASDAQ specifically and some of these names we've been talking about really in charge, whereas some of the reopening plays have kind of faded off a little bit? Really not much interest in any of the airlines yesterday. I saw some of the cruise lines as well. Volume across the board lower in that group, where focus, once again, as we said, has kind of shifted back over to tech.
We've sort of been in these cycles. I mean, the last few months has been, half a year has been about jumping from, you know, cycle to cycle, and it's like you go into value and then you come back into tech. And I think we've just sort of moved back into that phase. I don't know that it's gonna, I mean, the whole tech and FANG trade led the market for so incredibly long. Are we going right back into that? It feels hard to believe that that's going to be true. And in the longer term, if we're going really, really long run, but certainly that feels like the market that we're in right now. I think there's probably still a few defensive type names that you can find your way into. And at some point, you know, if the banks continue to pull back, I think there's going to be an opportunity with them. Maybe it's not going to be today or in the next couple of weeks, but I certainly do think there's going to be one that you want to be ready for to get back into some of the banks if you've relieved some of your pressure in there. But, you know, for now, we are in this sort of like a tech run. If you're day trading, I would simply say, you know, if you're looking at that Fed minutes at 2 o'clock and you're trading, let's just say Zoom for lack of a better word, or one of those like higher flyer names, maybe like a DocuSign or any one of those, you know, just sort of be careful when the announcement comes out. Sometimes, you know, if you're scalp trading or intraday swing trading, like getting in and out as a day trader, you might not want to be sort of hanging on when the releasement comes out. When you get that zigzag action all the way around that after 2 o'clock, you can really have some stops trigger just in case that there is some language that leads to people to believe that tapering could be coming sooner rather than later. You just want to be aware of that news dropping at 2. It shouldn't change your plans necessarily for the morning, though.
No, I want to trade. I mean, the banks have fallen way out of favor, so I want to go short this Morgan Stanley here at 89.50. If we can break it, 20-minute charts right here. I mean, it's 89.70, but we'll go down to 89.50 here and have a quick look at Morgan Stanley. The daily chart also something. Oh, that's still on AMC. Okay, we'll switch it over. AMC down to 47.50. We'll talk about that. These wicks, yuck. Okay, let's just look over at this one here. This is another day chart here off eSignal, so we'll just look. So that's 89.50. So we're right in this area right here where I just think we could retrace back to the 50 period here of 87.80. 80, something like that. I mean, yeah, we've already been down here. We were down to 84, 85 just a couple days ago, right? Last week, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was in June. So now you're back down to these levels again. I just think that we can retest back down. Morgan Stanley looks real nice. I like WFC for a short as well. I almost put that on the sticky note. Right now it's just 89.50 for Morgan Stanley, but I mean, this is also breaking. The difference is this name is below the 50 period, so that may be a little bit better of a short here with, less of a name with WFC, not as widely held. I mean, I guess it's just as widely held, but not as widely loved, I guess, as Morgan Stanley. And WFC, was the poor bank for a while, and then it just took off. And I think it's actually outperformed every other bank pretty much just because of the price of it. It got a lot of cheap hands in there for under 30, 40 bucks. But now it's pulling way back. It's below the 50 period. So that's just something to watch. Like, unlike JP Morgan, while JP Morgan's approaching it as well, I believe anyways, the 50 period. Let's see. Oh my God. Yeah. So we're just below it right now. So 160. So Morgan Stanley, that's why we're going over there again and again. It's coming up to that level. So let's wait to see what happens. This is the name I like to go short. Oh man, we might go short already. We're going to get triggered into this pretty early here, 89.50. So that's going to happen very soon. We're going to get short on Morgan Stanley, but the tech wreck is not wrecking at all. We already talked about that. Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, they're all at all-time highs or close enough to it. Google as well. So I keep all my money in tech, and I do have hedges in banks, especially Canadian banks. I think the dividend is super strong. You got to have something in your portfolio that pays a decent dividend, so you're collecting that every single month or quarterly, obviously. But that's my look on financials today, and I think that we got to look short.
All right, it's Wednesday. Mark Roberts, president of Sun Lake Strategies, joining us this morning for his take on how to approach things heading towards the Fed minutes. Good morning, Mark. It's great to see you. Hope you enjoyed your long weekend. It's an interesting, kind of setup this morning as we head towards these Fed minutes. How much, I guess, right off the bat, how much focus, how much attention is going to be put on some of these comments that we get to read today?
I think you're going to have initial overreaction, as we always do, when you see the Fed minutes. I think it's going to be a question of how soon are they tapering. Non-voting members are pushing for this year. Voting members are either neutral or for next year. The verdict is still out, but it's becoming a two-tongue type market where, how can I say it? The 10-year bond makes me feel as though we're going into a recession.
And employment, though, through the roof, as we saw back on Friday with really impressive numbers right across the board. So is it almost expected that, getting people back to work is going to be maybe another positive catalyst for the market?
I think anything that comes out that tells us that we're beating either a variant, we're getting more vaccinations, or the density of the cities are okay and workers are coming back are all positive news. I just think that we're crawling to get to those news items. The market is in fast forward and not waiting for the reactions.
Coming off of 7 straight all-time highs here, or 7 straight winning streak, at least for the S&P and the Dow. Let's talk about a little bit of energy, and Sean was just talking about the banks there a little bit. We saw both, fade off throughout the session yesterday. Energy specifically, an interesting look again today. We're up about 2% for oil at last I checked. What do we think of, this group at this point and the overall oil markets going forward?
I think they ran up way too fast. I think that there's always a lag time to the price of oil. My guess is they'll pull back some more and make another setup to go up. Driving, consumers, everybody's using the gas pump. So I'm not exactly sure what the fear factor is. We certainly in the U.S. are producing far less oil and starting to import over the last few months, and that's a real concern. So I'm going to say I'm going to stay long the energy, but on dips.
Let's talk about tech a little bit here. We saw Amazon, as we mentioned, break out of a 19-month consolidation on a daily time frame to make all-time highs yesterday. Happened to be when the CEO switch happened. So first day for Andy Jassy yesterday, but a nice look again this morning, Amazon to the upside. Is this another rotation back into tech, or is it just a technical event maybe?
I like that. It is a technical event. Also add the fact that Microsoft was pushed aside and Amazon was pushed back into the Pentagon's $10 billion cloud venture. So that also helped, not just the fact that there was a management change. The thing that concerns me more than anything are the IWM, which are the Russell 2000. They're looking very cautious in here, and if anything, I would be a seller on rallies.
Interesting. IWM, a bit of a seller there, Mark. Welcome. Of course, it's hump day. It's a holiday shortened week. Just in terms of, we talked a little bit about the banks, maybe not too in depth there, or at least a little bit, I want to say. Is there a timeline? Because in my whole line of thinking is every time there's a rotation, it's like, okay, well, what's the next thing that's going to get depressed, right? So, when we thought it was going to be cyclicals, it was like, well, we'll be ready for that ahead of time. So, when we talk about the banks, I mean, I like a Morgan Stanley, and we kind of thought they might not disappoint on earnings, but disappoint in terms of where they went after good earnings. Is there a place or a time that you're sort of looking at for this newest cycle? Where you think you might be getting back into these. Now, several have already broken the 50-period moving average, and you've already seen slight dips, and apologies for this chart here, which has these crazy dark pool wicks on every single one of our bank charts. But is there a timeline that you have for that sector in particular where you want to wait things out?
Right now, I'm long. I have not added to positions. I'm more interested in other sectors of the market. So for now, the financials are a big chunk of my portfolio, but I'm not adding. With rates where they are, I think this is going to be transitory. So the dip hasn't occurred in Morgan Stanley enough for me to buy it, or Goldman. So I'm going to hold off. I may lighten up on some insurance stocks. They make me a little nervous. But outside of that, the brokers and the banks, I'm still holding on.
Yeah, I mean, insurance names. These rates, I mean, they look, at the end of the day, they tend to get it right, as you always say there. So you cannot ignore that whatsoever. I also want to come just, if we can, Mark, like this, there's no getting around the China story, right? So something like a DD here, which gets another negative headline. I mean, now you're talking about getting pulled from the Alipay and WeChat apps, the super apps there. And it's just another negative line here for DD. It's actually holding and consolidating at 12 right now. So at some point, and this is one of those risk situations that's obviously going to be a difficult one to figure out, but at some point do you sort of say there can't be another negative, like what negative could come next for some of these names? Like, it's been piling on, and even it seems Alibaba is catching a bit of a bid as well. I know we sort of stayed away from, or you stayed away from saying let's get into these particular names, but just leaning into your experience, at what point does like multiple consecutive headlines beating something down turn into a buying opportunity for a company which, by the numbers that we have, doesn't look too bad?
I'm going to go to the sideline and say these are either swing trades or day trades. I have a hard time putting investment money into Alibaba or Didi or the rest for the time being. As we've talked before, Sean has mentioned, would you buy premium? I'm more of a premium player. I'm not a dead cat bounce or bottom fish kind of player. In my trading days, that's a different story. Investment-wise, the Alibabas do not interest me down here. But should they break back above a significant level, I'm interested.
Yeah, exactly. Let the money come in and decide that it's going to make that like as you said, dead cat. I wouldn't call Bob necessarily a dead cat bounce. Maybe we can talk about that for Didi. Is there a name that you have on your radar today, which might not be something that's at the front of our minds here? I mean, in the back of my mind, I'm sort of looking at a DocuSign and a teledoc on the back of my mind on a Fed day. But is there anything that you're watching today on the Fed minutes, or even for the afternoon or post meeting that you think can be a good trade?
I have bids in quite a few names. LUV comes to mind right away. It's approaching the 200-day moving average. It's come down from 65 to 51. Alaska Air would be another one. Those are the kind of names that I like because the reopened play is still functioning. Traveling is booming, and I don't think these stocks are getting the love that they should have.
I see what you did there, Mark. Not getting the love that they should. LEV looks actually pretty good around that 50 level. I have to sort of concur with that. You know, the bad puns are, well, that's a good pun. The bad puns are usually on my side over here. Does that extend to, and I hate to say this name because I sort of believe that, you know, this has been a dog, and that's of course Disney. And you talk about reopen plays. We've just you just had some numbers that have come through, and there was a good comparison I read the other day about the different streaming services. Of course, this doesn't want to load on my daily chart there, but is there any reason to look back at Disney as you might be finding some bottoms in some of those reopen plays? Has this come back out of they've come back out of favor? At the end of the day, you're still talking about, you know, Disney being, you know, parks opening back to the upside, despite the disappointment, I think, for a lot of people in the streaming side of it. There's more to the business than that. It's been trying to catch a bid. Yesterday was not a very good day for Disney. Do you have any thoughts along that line, or maybe the cruise names as opposed to just the airlines?
Yeah, the Disney becomes an interesting thing because film and TV companies, after Discovery CEO signaled more M&A, coming in the wake of the deal with AT&T Media Assets. DISC is little changed, but I think you got to keep your eye on Fox, Viacom, which Goldman is tending to turn more positive on. Disney's in there, and Netflix could all be a potential move. So with that commentary going on of M&A, I think this content story stays very much alive, and Disney's part of it.
There you go. I like it as a content story. I still feel like, you know, Disney's it's just that dog that disappoints. Anything, any last words you want to leave us with here? Maybe, I don't know, something in the EV space. I know GM had a bit of a move there yesterday. Any last sort of words that you have for us, Mark?
At this point, I think the S&P is going to underperform. I think NASDAQ's going to continue to strengthen, and I'm a little concerned on the Russell 2000, but the Fed minutes will throw everything into turmoil for the first 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll move into more stabilizing trades.
I tend to agree there. I tell the traders, if you can be flat on your, you know, really short-term day trades there, it's a good situation to sort of be flat and make decisions afterwards. Mark, I don't know if you're a fan of football, or I guess in the U.S. it's called soccer. I want England to make the final today, and of course Sean is supporting Italy. Do you have a dog in the fight? Do you care about the Euro Cup, or do you just want to give us a name?
Both of them are old-time favorites. I'll go with England for the moment.
What? That's what I'm talking about.
That's it. Stamp it. Bang. There it is. You get the WTF, Mark. Thank you for your support of the Italians there, Mark. Mark, do you understand where you live? Do you understand what's going on in New York City? Come on, you don't want to say that. You're the stock father.
But he shares it. He shares the name with me. He shares the Roberts name, and there you go. Let's go, England.
Father.
The stock father himself has made his pick, and he is never wrong. England is going all the way. Mark, thanks again. Best of luck trading. And
Mark.
We'll talk to you on Friday.
Okay, take care.
See you.
All right, guys, let's get some upgrades and downgrades for this morning. Nothing terribly exciting to mention on this board. ATI, top of the list here. Bank of America, Generac, I should say, down here. Piper Sandler and SAP on the upgrade side. As I mentioned, this Visteon we've traded before, down about 3.5%. Masco and Lear Corporation to the downside today, guys.
Ooh. Yeah, so good talk there with Mark Roberts, Lear Corporation. I did like what he was talking about there with he had a lot of bad things to say, especially near the end of that talk. But
what?
LUV, definitely a good name here. I haven't gotten into any airlines this whole time or cruise lines. I mean, we've traded them on the show, but as far as like, actually sitting here and buying dips or playing the momentum to the long side. Look, I mean, in Canada, we're just reopening right now. We still can't even sit inside restaurants or anything like that. So, it's been a little bit of a slow turnaround here. So it's been hard for me to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I do know, obviously, stateside with LUV, I mean, that's where they're doing all their business domestically, right? So I think that's probably getting a little overdone here. I mean, when you see, this kind of reminds me of Palantir when we slapped a sell on it last week, 2670. We got out a little bit of our Palantir, and it was very, very similar to this. You have basically one green day, 2 green days right there. So 2 green days, and we're not talking about the band here, in just over 2 or 3 weeks. And then even before then, you have big sell-off. Like all these green candles aren't that impressive. So yeah, LUV. And then another one, shout out to you, Daryl, if you're watching. I know a lot of you are looking at Carnival. We talked about how high that was getting at that $30 mark right there. And then this is about to, I'd hate to say it, guys, but looks like it's about to break consolidation back to the downside again. So almost like flip the Amazon chart upside down, where Amazon looked like this for a while, then broke out to the upside because tech rules everything around me. Cream, get that money. But 24.75 to the downside here. I mean, I'm not loving Carnival again here today, but this is more on a daily chart. So watch out how far we can go down on here. I think it's a buy in the 2021 area. So we'll just wait, man. I mean, a lot of these names have to be very, very patient. Remember, it's summertime. So that's the one, other little bit about this all is that people say sell in May and go away. And then, hopefully we buy it back. You go back to school. It's the back to school trade there in September, which will start the retail. So that should start, late August back into this. So with traveling and everything like that going to happen in the summer, I do like some of these cruise lines now. I just want to see if we can get it back into this 21, 22 area. Now I know that's 10% down. But LUV at that level that Mark talked about there, Brendan, seems to be pretty good. But we are getting on in time. We're going to go over our watch list coming up soon.
Those charts starting to look relatively interesting on a daily time frame. Anyways, let's, as you said, get into the morning note, guys. We send it out every single morning before we come on at 8:30. That is the link you need to go and register if you have not done so. Absolutely free every single morning. We do your homework for you. Meme stocks, the squeeze stocks, whatever you want to call them. The list continues to grow. A few additional names to discuss this morning. DTST, there's that MRIN, there's CPOP, a number of names that popped up over the past couple of days, continuing to make moves this morning. DTST, though, an interesting look here, guys, among the most active so far today.
Yeah, data storage, a new addition to the list. That's CPOP, the Chinese hip-hop marketing company. That's interesting, and I'm probably going to be looking at that for some short opportunities. But DTST, in the midst of, look, it's a breakout. You're obviously going to call it that with these meme stocks, but it's one thing that we mentioned when that SEC rule has come through. Essentially, you've gotten shorter duration moves. So like instead of like your GameStops and AMCs, like these 5-month, weekly, week-long moves or month-long types of squeezes, you're essentially seeing these short-lived ones, right? Like you're having, a couple of days or a week, and then they're going from name to name. So that was one thing that made sense when that legislation went through, and that's one thing we tend to be seeing here, at least it looks like it for the time being. DTST already made a bit of a breakout through the $12 level, so it's going to stand out. You're going to see that break here right at 7 o'clock when some of the retail trade came in. And then DTST has multiple times, apologies for these wicks, this has held 12 even throughout the session, including at 8 o'clock when it really got sold into this like $1.50 drop into 12 even. It just bounced off this 12. Now, I think you can see what I'm sort of getting at. What was early light volume resistance has turned into a bit of a support level. If we don't break that one, this is going to stand out for a top break, obviously. I would love to see again, if you're looking for like a long and thing that's going to have legs to it, I would love to see, like a break of that 12 at the open, which is a failed break. Maybe, again, it sucks for people that might be in it, but it's a failed break that wipes some people out, and then you get a move to the upside. I think that would give you a little bit more momentum, because a lot of the buyers probably haven't given up, even if they're sitting at the top, right? If you bought 12.70, 12.13 even, you're not probably scared by that 12 even. You've been hanging on to this one going into the open, which could slow the move because there'd be people sitting on the offer. When you go to the higher time frames, it's not like you're going to have levels to look at. So that 12 stands out. If it dips through there, holds 11, I think there's a good retracement long, call it like an intraday dead cat bounce, whatever you want. But DTST has to be the highest on the radar for me. The momentum is pretty good. Just be careful. The spread has opened up from time to time from what I've been able to see. And as I speak, there's another bounce off of 12 even. That's the level.
I mean, Neil just dropping the knowledge. I'm going to make it very, very simple. You just go long here at 1350, and that's the end of that story. Okay, Morgan Stanley, we are short right now, 89.40. This was the call that we talked about earlier, going short through 89.50. It's on the sticky note. Thank you guys for participating in the sticky note and continuing to give it some love. So we're going to be short there. It does break that 89.50. We missed the break. Like, it broke, and then it gapped all the way down to 89.40. I don't know, 89.43. It must have been lower because my offer sat there at 89.40 and I grabbed it, right? So we're going to wait for that right now. But Morgan Stanley right now coming to the downside. Hopefully we're going to be right about this one. I will put a bid right around where we stopped here, 89.15 or so, and see if we can't take 25 cents early. We know how these things can act. But yeah, that DST data storage there, some support or some resistance up here, 1350, but we've already been up here before, so it's not going all the way back. Here we go. It's data storage right here. So we do have some volume back here back in February. I don't know why our charts aren't showing that, but we've got as high as $30 before. We can probably break this level. So let's wait to see what's happening now with DST to the high side. I like it on the break. I mean, there's always names like this, man, 8 million shares. And then if you break 1350 and you don't go, then you just got to get out at 13, where we're suffering right now through this little breaking spot. So I love DTST data storage there. But for right now, we are short Morgan Stanley. Let's get some on the bid there. We could have just got 12s if we were on a dark pool.
All right, let's bring in Arun here, get a quick check on the overall market, see what we need to be aware of for the futures. We are heading back to break even once again. To start things off so far this morning, Arun, interesting day here coming up. Obviously, the Fed minutes at 2 p.m. today going to be the major catalyst.
Yep, that's going to be the major catalyst. But, yesterday we got some movement that was surprising for July. It kind of opened up the market a little bit, allows us to at least find some trades at some point this week, whether that's today or tomorrow, whatever the case is. But the movement actually brings an opportunity. And that was surprising because the market went from 43.45-ish all the way down to 43.05, which is a 40-point move for July. I think that's impressive. So here we are. 43.50 is the top end level I've got. 43.15 is a secondary support level I've got, and then obviously the low down at 4,300 is what I'm going to be using. So a couple trades that you can potentially look for if you're getting to the mid 40s, 43, 45-ish around there. If you get that proper setup, again, it's key around that 43.50 mark because there's going to be a bunch of stops sitting there. If you are going short, you want to be confident in that short. If you can get a short that sets up properly in that mid 40s, then you go ahead and take that short with the 50 stop and look for a move down into the mid 20s. If you get down into the mid 20s, so 43.25, somewhere in that range, and you get a decent setup on the long side, you can look for a potential long there with the support level being 43.15. Now, if you break 43.15, I would leave it alone until we get down towards the 43.05, 10.05 area and see if we can catch a long down there with some support. Again, it has to set up. All of these have to set up properly. It's the kind of market where it's providing opportunity, but at the same time, you don't want to step in too early because in a quiet market, you could be in a bad position for quite a while if you don't have the read done properly. So I would just be patient with your reads. We do have a couple of things coming out. I'm noticing that we have the 2 p.m. Fed minutes later on. And also I'm noticing that there's a Fed monetary policy report at 11 a.m. So it's a semi-annual report going to the Senate Banking Committee. Happens twice a year, apparently. And that's going to be somewhat of a mover as well. So just be aware at 11 a.m. Eastern, there could be something that goes on in the market. The market could react to something in that report. And then the big mover would be the 2 p.m. Eastern time Fed policy report or the Fed minutes from the last meeting. Keep in mind, everyone's paying attention to the wording. It's all about the wording and what the future of the progress of towards raising rates are going to look like, right? Everyone's looking at that. Any changes in words from the previous one or any different expectations that have happened since the last statement that the Fed has made, this market will react to it. So just be aware, 2 p.m. Eastern time, there will be a movement if there's any changes to the wording. And this could get really volatile really quickly if there ends up being something that actually is in that report that surprises a lot of people. So it's July, markets are thin. This could get quite aggressive if something comes out of that report.
Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's continue along with what is moving around in the pre-market this morning, guys. We'll talk about DD Global. Once again, we're going to discuss all of the Chinese stocks because it's worth mentioning all of them in focus once again today as this crackdown, tech crackdown specifically, continues from the Chinese government and regulators. But more negativity around DD. Once again, DI down another better part of 4%. We did get a little bit of a pop here up to 12.10, but look at this. We're fading right back down to $12, guys, which seems to be a bit of a level so far.
I mean, I'll start this one. Yesterday we were short DD all day. You guys know that. My trades aren't showing up, but it was a good one until the end of the day where we popped up a little bit and we were able to get out, so it was no problem. But it was a cash money stock for us yesterday. We'll see about what it's going to do today. I still have the short. I mean, it's on here. We're talking about it here on the short list. We're looking to get to, that's that 1250 marker. So it's actually 1260, but I did want to watch it once we get up to that 1250 spot there just to see what we do. Look, I mean, I love the business of ride sharing, and especially being able to get into a name so young and so early on top of it all that Uber's also invested and has a stake here in DD. I mean, I like it. I like the name and I like the business. The only problem is, I don't like the country, unfortunately, where they're doing business as far as, that environment for politics. Not that I don't like the country, the politics for investing and things like that. And just the crackdowns, right? The CCP likes to flex, their muscle around, and they're doing it right now. And we'll just wait to see. Hopefully it gets all clear. But for me, I'm not super excited. If you go to a 3-minute chart here, I'm not super excited about the short. Yesterday, I had to explain to you guys why I like, is that it? No, that's before. Okay. See my trades from 2 days ago showing up, but not yesterday. Okay. So anyways, long story short, if we break this 1175 is probably the only level that I'm going to crack to the short side. Other than that, I want to build a short position into this 1250 area. If we break above 1260, then honestly, I think it's a screaming long. So this is a very, very tricky trade for those of you that don't use stop orders. I think you definitely need to be short into this 1250 area. But then if you break this level, I just think there's so many traders right now, and I was listening to a few things last night. I really think there's going to be money pouring in to DD at some point. So it's just a matter of when. And I just think, at some point, they're going to say enough is enough, and then we're going to start going long through this name. It's just like that Alibaba trade that Neil and Mark talked about that I've been talking about for a long time as well. How beat down are some of these names due to, again, not about the country itself, as some of these names, Baidu, JD, even Alibaba, they've been darlings for such a long time, but the last 6 months to a year has just created havoc for some of these names, and a lot of it is the politicizing the trade, right? So I think Baba's due for a pullback, pull up, I guess, right now, and that could happen. And I just think DD maybe leads the way. If this can get going, then I do think that it's a great sign for the Chinese tech names, especially a name like DD, a name like NIO, that all of us are invested in.
Look, it's interesting because the thing about DD is when I look at this chart on any other IPO that did this same move and maybe had that negative catalyst, that it was holding that 12 even level and catching this bounce, I just see sitting here saying this should be a long breakout. I mean, it's almost like that short seller report setup where, okay, you get the gap down, you make a flush, and you come back the next day and you're holding that key level. You're essentially holding that 12. I mean, it's not necessarily 12 even because the higher low got put in at like 75, as Sean rightfully mentioned, but you're still above it. It made a bit of a break off 12 even on DD here. And it's not to say that I 100% have to be a long every time you see the setup, but at some point, I mean, the risk to reward is just potentially going to get to be too good. Now, is it going to be, and always watch the afternoon show, even if you're not going to trade, because levels can become important there. Like, you're going to miss out on some opportunities in things like Zila, or watching what happened at DT when it tried to pop through 1260. So that's going to stand out for a bit of a dead cat breakout. But this is legitimately on my radar, and I'll go from the 15-minute back into the one here. This is legitimately on my radar for that same like dip rip type of play that I sort of discussed with DTST, where if it makes a dip through 1190, can't actually break that higher low at 1175, the one that got put in yesterday in the afternoon, then that would become like, okay, take a shot here. It comes back to 1190, or maybe it's 12, depending on how fast it happens. And then you throw that stop at that 75. You give yourself like 15, 25, maybe 30 cents worth of risk. And then you don't necessarily have to worry about the risk reward. I mean, it's going to be pretty good, 1.5 to 1 to that 1250 level. So you can be covering on the way up. I just think it could get set up for that. And it looks like it's set up for that. Now, can I endorse hanging on to this thing or actually investing in it with that much uncertainty? Nope. Not really, and I love the business too. I'm already in at Uber, so already exposed to it in that regard. Probably not a ton, but either way, I think there's a day trade that can be had here to that long side. If it gives another capitulation or just wipe out at the open, there might be a bit of a dip and rip opportunity for us here in DT.
All right, let's shift over to tech. We saw the NASDAQ lead yesterday, leading again today. I want to focus on Apple. Sean, you mentioned Microsoft early on today, but just having a look here at Apple, guys, up 1% here in the pre-market, just over 1%. You can see nice move on the daily chart. This thing, I mean, we sat here for months talking about how Apple did nothing basically all year long. This goes all the way back to December of last year. So we've been chopping around in this range. Finally, getting back towards some of these highs for Apple, but we saw Apple, we saw Amazon, we saw Microsoft all leading, taking the market on their backs yesterday and leading to the upside.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, Brendan, for that throw there. But like Apple, we've been talking, I mean, look, it's just a no-brainer trade. I mean, every single time Apple dips is a buying opportunity. I've been saying that. It's the largest stock that my 19-year-old holds on purpose. I mean, I'm telling this guy, you know, every single time, you know, it dips in. I mean, he was buying in the 120s. He bought down here 104, 105 during this dip. I don't know what he's done recently. I think he's just like into mind med and stuff like that now. 145.50 here is the all-time high, the all-time closing high, 145.09. So you're right back here. As soon as you broke through this 50 period, right here at 128, and I know that we talked about this over and over again, this is that consolidation. Look, we couldn't break through 130, right? We did. We came back down, hit it, bang, upside. Apple's going to have a monster quarter. We're getting into earnings season right now, and I can't see any reason why Apple's not just going to destroy everybody. Their watch is hot fire. They're just releasing like a new watch. Bang. Oh, $600, no problem. Bang, there's the money. And how are they paying with it? Oh, let's just use Apple Pay to pay for that watch. You know, and it's just like, it's crazy. There's so many upgrade cycles here with Apple that just continue to be super strong. I don't care. I'm a Pixel guy. I'm an Android. I bought the I remember walking down on Bloor Street when we had my own office, Neil and I bought the very first Apple iPhone. And I remember the guy, I bought two of them. Wife, here, what's up? So we bought two of those. And I remember the guy gave it to me in a bag. And he goes, be very, very careful. People are getting robbed for these phones. I felt very fine walking away. But at that point, I should have realized that, yeah, man, this is, I mean, we all should have realized it, going from iPods to iPhones, and now they're just getting bigger and badder, man. I mean, we don't even talk about the car anymore, right? Hopefully. I don't know if that's a good sign or not, but they're going to get into that game soon as well. And I mean, the streaming is there. I don't know what else to say. Microsoft, I'm larger on Microsoft and Google than I am on Apple, but Apple's a really close third. And I mean, I just keep buying all of these dips. This is a 3-minute chart. I think we take off. I mean, if you get some consolidation back, if you're just talking about today, back to 142.50, I think that could be a good little spot there where we sort of stopped yesterday before tanking midday there. Again, a lot of that, there was that talk that sent the NASDAQ down there about Microsoft and Amazon there competing for that contract there with the U.S. government. But that sent the NASDAQ down a little bit, right back to the upside. So I look to get long Apple here, 142.50, or what the hell, just let it break this top and go long as well, 144. We could break all-time highs today. Let's see where we go. NASDAQ up 0.63. Apple's the biggest and the baddest of them all. So roar, Apple, roar is all I have to say.
Yeah, I wouldn't discount 145. Actually, we talked about this, and we've talked about this before, that you can't be afraid to buy high, sell sell higher. I mean, like I know it's you buy low, sell high. But Amazon made that breakout, and Apple has yet to do it. Look, if we do get any kind of a dip, especially in the afternoon, you might be thinking about that 140 level. But 145 is going to stand out like a sore thumb. I'm not always the buy what I believe in. I tend to be like a contrarian, so I'm like buy what I don't own. My entire family's Apple, and I'm not. I'm an Android person, but I recognize what other people love, and I think the car. Regardless, it's just another line or another notch in their vest, guys. We don't want to ignore some of the other tech names. I think it's going to be worthwhile to have a look at them. It's just to me that Apple has yet to break out. And 145, can't be afraid to look at that as a potential break. I prefer a deeper retracement. 142.50, I kind of feel like if we go down, we could go a little further than that. So I'd park something in front of a 140 for that day trade in case things get crazy, maybe like a 141 or like a 140.77, something along those lines in front of a 140 level. But Apple has to be on the radar. It's the one that has to go.
All right, let's talk about space. Virgin Galactic, big move both directions yesterday. We had initial strength that was sold off throughout the remainder of the session. We actually ended the day basically right back to where it started. It's trying to get back to the upside here again. Today we're up 1.2. This is the move I was talking about. Huge run up initially yesterday, but all the way back. Trying to hold some support areas though here early on so far, guys, for Virgin.
Yeah.
So don't forget Virgin. Of course, they get the launch that's coming up. They are sending Branson into space ahead of Bezos, and Bezos has got his time to do other things. It's putting in higher lows, and I love that 43 as a support. The day that it breaks it, you'll probably always look for a multi-day support like that for a short trade. It's now put in another. It's right at 44 actually. Another sort of 2-day bottom here that you're seeing off 44 and moving up now. It did turn pretty harshly, and I'll pull back to 50-minute chart. It did turn at this little top here, 49.60, which did coincide with, hey, look at that, on the way up, failure 49.60, then breakout. On the way down, tried to pull back into 49.60, and then you put that top in there yesterday. So I'm going to be watching that to like a 50 level for, I guess, like the first resistance point. It is sort of setting up to consolidate. At least that's what it looks like to me. It looks like it's forming a bit of a wedge into this like 48 half area, with the top being that 50, and then you got this little bottom here at like 44, 45. So I think it's going to run into that resistance. I love to see it sort of move into that a little too harshly at the open, and then think about a running short trade on Virgin Galactic. There was one yesterday that, of course, I talked about the level and then ended up missing out on it because I was trading other things. This time it's going to be a little bit more firmly on the radar if it gets to that 50 level. If it tests either of those two bottoms, I think that's going to be a fantastic level to at least play like a really tight stop, like long bounce at 44 or 43. If we're still testing that level 43 and we get below that on an unsuccessful launch, that stock has a lot of room to the downside beyond that. So if you're holding it up here on like a long or a swing, just understand that catalyst on the 11th, you're going to get some crazy movement likely if there is anything negative that comes from the launch. Of course, I wish it all the best.
Okay, so I was wishing that it showed my trades on here because it just did a couple seconds ago, and then I switched from a 3-minute to a 1-minute chart here, and it took the trades away. But thank you guys. I'll keep talking about it on the chat. Thank you for all the love for the last couple days of my Virgin Galactic trading. It's put a lot of money in said pocket. There it is. Yes. Okay. So we have a little bit here. We have 1 day. We only have 2 days ago on Virgin Galactic. Look at this trade here, guys. Like these shorts, 50. This was the best one here. These are trades of the day. We could have done a trade of the day on this yesterday as well. 52 downside, bang. Look at that short. Purples or shorts, guys. Bang, bang, bang. And then yesterday, unfortunately, it's not in here. But guess what? We had long right here yesterday. 46.50, bang. And where did we cover? Right up here yesterday. And actually, we have it on Twitter yesterday as well. So taking out that, those key levels. So I just think that that's something that we all have to look at. Here it is right here on space. So we'll talk about that. This is the trade from yesterday. There it is right there. 46.50 long, 47 long, and then there's the out. 47.80 out, okay, there on space. And as you're going to look to see, I was like wondering if that was a little bit of a mistake, but there's the out. No, it actually wasn't. That was my first out. The second out was up here, 48.70, where we were thinking about, maybe we were going to test that 50 level, but we did get out there worried about that top. But look, it faded all the way back in. So we've just been destroying space lately, and I think that it should continue today. It's on the sticky note. So if you can follow me at Trader TV, you'll find this long 47.40. So let's just see if we can take out this pre-market high right here, and we'll go long on space. Let's just keep it simple, stupid, and not make any hard trades here. Let's just go long on Virgin Galactic through 47.40. It's a very, very simple trade. There's nothing to worry about. We've been absolutely destroying this the last couple of days. Hit the sirens. Congratulations, anybody that's been doing this with me. I love that idea. We should have a Trader TV barbecue. I think that's probably right. And then we'll be cooking up some nice little profits for you guys. Look, I don't know what you guys want on the barbecue, but here I am. We'll cook it up. Tonight, I think it's burgers. Tonight, we had something called the Mac salad last night. So it's like a Big Mac, but in salad. So no carbs, no carbs. Nice head lettuce, iceberg lettuce. You put on the ground beef. The wife makes this Mac salad sauce or whatever it is. Put some pickles up in there. Brendan, you would like it.
Sounding very delicious, definitely. Let's move on to the banks. Few more to get through here, guys, before we get to the open. Big banks in focus again. I saw the 10-year, guys, got to 1.305 this morning, which is recent lows, to say the least, for the 10-year Treasury. But weakness right across the board. We were already talking about a few of these.
Yeah, it's not going to be. It's not a good look for them. Hopefully, my daily chart doesn't hate me when I try to pull up a city. I was looking at BAC as well. Sean mentioned Morgan Stanley. There have been some weaker names. Oh, of course, it's going to look pretty ugly. But there have been some weaker names. I'm looking at this Citigroup, right at this like 67. It's a bit of a double bottom. I know it's hard to see because of those dark pool prints, but you look at that 67 level on something like a Citigroup, and that's going to be the daily. My 15-minute just crashed there. I just feel like the ones that have crossed below, and I'm talking about like your cities, and I think Sean rightfully mentioned like a Wells Fargo, some of the weaker names there, as they start to break some of these levels, if you like them, talk about patience, wait till like the mid 50, maybe 58s. I don't know exactly when to step in, but you got to be on the. I think you're on the south side of this trade, at least temporarily. I thought that, even though I expected Morgan Stanley to beat earnings, and that's exactly what they did. I look at Citigroup at that 67 level. Now, Citigroup is never usually going to be that name that gives you the monster moves, but you cannot ignore what it's been able to do off the top here. Like, these are pretty sharp pullbacks. You're talking about now 15% from the top, and if 67 goes, you could have another 10% type of event into that next support level. So I'm looking at Citi on that 67. We're not there yet, and the volume is pretty light in the pre-market, but the banking sector is a little bit of a fade for me, although in the back of my mind, it's just a matter of time before actually getting some bids in these, probably in the next few weeks.
Just telling my wife that everybody wants the recipe now, so she might have to hit up on the chat here. Okay, so Virgin Galactic, that's nice. We already crushed that one. Let's go over to Morgan Stanley right now. Yeah, so we're short right now. I like this short. The price that it is, we're flat on this, so we'll wait to see. It does go up to 89.60. So just in case we're wrong here, as a 10-year, I think dips to 130 there. 90, I don't expect us to get up here, but maybe we do. 90 and a quarter, maybe 90.50, something like that is where we can let this one go. So let's wait to see. I want to average into it if we start to go upside here. And we've already talked about why we think Morgan Stanley is the one to go. Normally, I like things that are above the 50-period moving average. But if you look at all the banks, I mean, you just did Citigroup there. I mean, we can just call another one up. Wells Fargo is the other name that I was really thinking about a short. But look how significant we are below the 50-period. I just think Morgan needs to catch up. But then I'm shorting like one of the better banks, so that's why it's a little bit sketchy there for that play. But hey, if any money's going to come out, why not come out of Morgan right now? So we'll just wait to see. I think we can retest like 88.50. That could happen today. Let's see what the momentum is. The S&P is still down or up 0.16. I'm pretty sure the Dow is down with a lot of these banking names. I'll have to check on that as I'm looking around for it. Actually, here, let's just check it out. DIA on the Amex is the Dow. So we'll see. Oh, there might not be too much printing here in the pre-market. We're probably down a little bit. Yeah, there. Okay, basically flat. So those are the diamonds. If you're ever looking to trade the Dow Jones 30, you could trade DIA over there in the Amex. Just another tip, Brendan.
All right, guys, a couple of little ones at the bottom end of the list, small caps to be aware of. Dare Biosciences teaming up with Merck to study a skin cancer treatment. So they're up on that news today, 50%. These are significant levels if you go to the daily chart for this Dare. And I'm speaking of 250 all the way up to 3. So if you kind of imagine a channel right across here we need to stay away from. It's already tested all the way up to about 260, 265 this morning and faded off from that. So if we do get a push back into 250, those are big levels for DARE. If it holds above 250, though, we might start creeping higher. Lots of liquidity, though, in Dare today, guys.
Russell Jackson, you're right. That Big Mac salad, I know all about it, but put bacon on that bad boy. Put bacon on anything. Thank you for the super chat there, Russell. Coming from Aussie land there. ONCS is another one. I like the hot dog cannon.
Yeah, there
now,
it
you
is.
don't make, see, man.
It's the pork talk, right? We got to do the hot dog cannon.
You can't make me hungry at 9:23 before the open, guys, because we got trading to get to. On Cosec is another name on our watch list. You're going to see here. I've been in position all morning and talked a little bit about it, at least on the chat, anyways. This is a daily chart, which doesn't look entirely fantastic. Obviously, it tried to break out through the 50 period. Oh, that's my 15-minute chart, which has crashed, of course. I want to come back. I want to come back into anytime you get these like aftermarket runs and then immediate fall down consolidation. I treat that very similar to what we do with the open, or at least in the pre-market in the morning, guys, where it tries to break back above that level here. I should actually point it at the chart, 365. We then fade through when retail comes through at 365. At 7 a.m., you get that flush to the downside through that level that you've identified, the 65, and then I short the consolidation. I scalps them out in front of the low of the day. I short consolidation, scalps them out. I did not get this trade here at 360. I was talking to market that time, so I missed that opportunity to get some more shares in. That's fine. But taking some more out in front of that 340. So it's been, for now, about like 10, 15 cent, it's a 5, 10, 15 cent type of idea. Looks like it has a chance to flush back into like a quarter and then a $3 range. This would be set up. If it does pop into that 65, I would get back into it on a 930 failure through that particular price. So ONCS, another one on our watch list. I am shorted. I am looking to get back into it as well, potentially at 930. DTST, which I know a lot of you guys are watching. Yeah, I mean, it's actually holding up this little bounce. So I talked about maybe the dip and rip. It would need to at least retest that 12 for that to be true. You did see it kind of get to that 13 level, get barely above it, and now holding right around this 1250. It still has a chance to set up for that 930 flush. And then maybe you can catch something, after maybe a failed breakdown at that 12 even. But it's continuing to look pretty strong. And DD is also setting up that way. Look, again, I can't say that I feel good about anybody investing long term. There's so much risk in DD that it's hard to sort of quantify there in DD. But it did pop down after failing to get anywhere past that 12.15. It popped down below 12, held the low one more time. So this is still set up for a potential dip and rip. I just think you got to go tight stop with any long on something like a DD today or at any point, because there's so many negative tailwinds potentially with this. I mean, it seems like there's an announcement basically every single day that's negative since it's come out. So anything can possibly happen there. Just make sure you have stops.
From one couple crazy mover stocks there over to Zila. Everybody talking about Zila today, down that 7%. Okay, so just we're right at this level of consolidation here. I mean, just notice that the volume came in once we started to go above here, and then basically on all of the sells, the volume's pretty light. That's why, on the way down, look, just look at the chart down below there. You can see the volume, what we're talking about at the bottom there, starts to get low on these sells into the close. That really shouldn't be happening. So I'm wondering if there's a lot of people sitting on these shares right now, and if they're not scared about down 7%, this thing probably rips here. I mean, look at the volume, and I know this is again 2 o'clock, but we start get going, breaking, then the volume comes in, and again on the dips, the volume's not huge, and then we start to get going again, and the volume comes back in, including the top where we don't even see a lot of volume trading at the very top here again, and then this morning, some light little areas of volume concern here where we start to dip below that 260. We get a little bit of volume involved there. So why not buy these bottoms, 220, 230 on Zila? I think that's a good opportunity. I already have my order to go long. I do not, but I have to. Now that I look at it, to go through $3 here. Let's see if we can get the momentum to go. But again, if to get to $3, we got to break this first. So 275 is a good little level for me to go long on Zila. Then we'll see about getting some out. Remember, if you can get, I know this sounds crazy, but 25 cents on Zila is 10%.
Great move.
So if we could take that 275 long and get out somewhere around here, we should do that. And then we don't have to always hold for home run. I think Neil and I do a good job sometimes of describing to you how we trade. And I like to keep at least 10%-ish on for a home run. And I mean, and you don't really get paid off, but hey, it's at least something there if you're right and it rips. There's reasons why, I like to be consistent with my days. I hate going home with a red account. So thank God that hasn't happened in a while. So we'll wait to see on Zila today. And part of that is discipline, guys. Not every single stock is going to moon for you. So let's see if we can go 275 5 and then talk about it again at 3 and play dips to 221. So I think that we just covered a couple there, ONCS, DTST there as well. So those are some stocks today to look out for if you're trying to play those 10% plus clubs.
Yes, sir. 1 minute to go till the open. I should have said, and apologies for this, on Citigroup, I also like a fade. Yesterday afternoon, it was a 68, 50-ish area high. I would play a fade into that as opposed to, in addition to a potential breakdown trade. CPOP, this is, of course, the Chinese hip hop marketing company.
Hip hop.
That's up 20. It's up another 20%. Although it already made a $10 move top to bottom. It already sold off on relatively light volume.
They want the imbalances. Let me show the imbalances.
Yeah, we'll show the imbalance. This one could halt off the open if it bounces to the upside. I'm looking only fades on this. So first key level is the opening, is a pre-market high.
Okay, really quickly, guys, here. Sorry about that. We didn't cover the imbalances today. That's my bad. AMC, they're nothing. That's why. DD, we've already talked about that. Banks are on there. Cloudera's on there, but that's nothing. Palantir's on there. I'm just trying to find names. XPEV is on there for you guys, but we only have 20 seconds to go. So this is what the imbalances look like, guys. If this is a nothing burger. We talked about Big Mac salad. This is a nothing burger. There's no meat. There's no cheese. There's no nothing on that one. So enjoy that. Just a little bit of Thousand Island dressing there to go. But the mac sauce is like mayonnaise and mustard. Let's go, Valeria. With only 4 seconds to go, we don't let her wait
3,
for too
2,
long.
and 1. Ring it, Ms. B.
Let's go! The market is now open, so we'll see what we're going to do right now with some of these plays. We'll average into our Morgan Stanley as I look around in a frantic looking for some trades. We'll wait to see if anything hits, though. Microsoft on a dip as well. We're looking to buy, Neil.
Yeah, and of course, CPOP does not make that pop. It immediately heads to the downside there, so I can kind of go away from that. But DD comes right back above that 12 level. It's not a ton of action for now, but the wipeout sell hasn't happened. I think DTST is so far the biggest mover that I can see off of that open, and it's sort of tracking back below that 13 level. I wanted to see that wipeout through 12 even is the ideal entry point. I don't want to sit there necessarily chasing it. Look at this crazy range. It's about like a 70-cent range off of the open, and I don't want to get whipped around in it. I'm safely in the money on ONCS, so there's no need for me to rush into either of these positions here, guys. But DD now testing down towards that 1175. So it bounces there. This could be that sort of dead cat bounce, but it's DTST that I want that level 2 open up for because there's a big spread and still going crazy. Don't get chopped up here, guys.
Of course, today we get that big, huge flush on DD, like we tried to get that yesterday, and that's where that dipped down to 1158. We are going to go short on an 1175 break for DD, so watch out for that one. We talked about CCL. There goes Palantir, guys, and again, like, I feel bad because I know that a lot of us are trading Palantir, but we've talked about this has been weak for a bit, and I did sell some on the upside there. So watch out there now. Breaking there it goes. I was just going to say watch out for that 24 break. Should have probably shorted that. So let's wait to see where we go from here on Palantir. Next stop downside, man. Like I think we retest. We talked about possibly retesting back down here. So watch out for Palantir. Continues to go to the downside, even on a strong NASDAQ. Palantir giving up the ghost here, guys.
Yeah, and just to go back to another name, of course, Virgin Galactic. I'll get to NEG in a second. Newegg. I know that was a big time mover yesterday. It wasn't necessarily as sexy today, but Virgin Galactic actually headed southbound. I remember there were some good levels. Obviously, 43 and 44 are going to stand out. In the afternoon, you were probably watching 46 is the higher low that got put in. It's actually trying to make a bounce off that right now. If there's going to be a kind of, not a dead cat bounce, if there's going to be a first bounce kind of idea, I didn't think it was going to be in Virgin Galactic off of that 46, but I'll take a crack at that one as DD is still holding between 75 and 12. I just don't see myself making a trade on DD until DTST tests that 12 even. I don't see myself forcing into it, but there is a level at that 46. Several higher lows. I personally like 43 and 44 a heck of a lot better, but I'll take my crack here in front of that 46 on Virgin Galactic.
Yep. Okay, good. Yeah, Virgin Galactic cracking down. We're waiting for that 47.50 or so, 47.40, I believe. So that's not in danger right now. But what is in danger? We just took a Microsoft long at 279.20, down 40 cents right now on it. We're not going to get worried about this until 277. We talked about yesterday's close. So we do want to average into this. I just got to make sure I do have some bids in there now, which we do. So hopefully we get a little bit of a bid. Even more of a dip down would be fine. And we'll take the long. I may just start to average into this right now. It doesn't look like the bank trade wants wants to work out right now. This is back up to 90 and change. We've averaged in. I'm probably going to average in one more time. This is a pretty light trade that we take off open, but these averages in could get us into trouble. Like, this is the problem. NASDAQ going, like, I'm the wrong way on these stocks. As the NASDAQ goes down, you're going to see some of these value plays like a bank or so on get a little bit of love here into the NASDAQ weakness, right? So we're reversed the wrong way, but we'll take some more shorts upside here and then get a little more long on Microsoft as well.
Yeah, this happened way faster than I expected. I mean, Citigroup came into like 68 and a quarter. And I said that quickly. I was like, yeah, I like the fade as well into the afternoon level. So apologies for not saying that in my first thoughts. But it pops right in. It actually ends up being that 9:30 pop trade. The first test on Virgin Galactic doesn't work out, but we can go ahead and look. I'm always going to scalp trade a lot of these when I take a short pop in that type of a setup. So we will go with, I don't know, we'll power it up because I never use that one enough. A little gaming play on Citigroup. If it comes back into that pre-market high and that 68.50, I do want to get more shares, but I'm going to do that at a better price, not worse. Got to be better. Got quarters to start. I like that 30 to 35 area, and then I'm telling you that DTST. I mean, this is. I'm a little bit surprised that this doesn't make a deeper test of 12. It goes to 12.20. It's still in the same opening range here, so yet to break significantly in either direction. I'm trying to sort of wait on the sidelines till we get a definitive trade, and it's the same thing with DD. I'm not seeing it break that 25-cent range either, so no need to rush into either one of those trades. I think there's going to be something there. CPOP, which I did say was going to be a short for me. I wanted to short any pop that it made. It is also, I mean, to say it's not doing anything, this is a $3 range from 35 to 8.38, but I told you I had a $10 range in the pre-market. So that's nothing for CPOP. It can move $5, $10 in a heartbeat.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen that stock go nuts. NEO on the way down as well. We are averaging into this Morgan Stanley here as the bank stocks continue to go upside. No surprise there as you see the NASDAQ moving down. So there goes Morgan upside there. We can check out JP Morgan as well. Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, WFC, all making moves. And I watch out. Thank you, Miss V. Let's throw it to Brendo.
One of note, early movers so far, guys. PayPal just popping up here above that last high on the daily chart over there. So 52-week highs. One that, I mean, yeah, it was positive yesterday, but one that kind of lagged maybe a little bit in the tech group. PayPal on the move, guys.
Yeah, we love some PayPal there as we do our little roller coaster. That's been a big, huge play for me. We've made a hell of a lot of money on that one. I'm long $100 off the call of 2020 for PayPal. So that was a great one. I mean, I'm long below that, but that's the call when we started that one to go to the upside there. So, oh man, I'm so mad about this Morgan Stanley trade. We just took our last piece right now. Our out's going to be 90.60. We just took our last bit there. You can see my average price, 89.90. So we're only out 30 cents, but should have been a little more patient. We are patient with Microsoft, including this bottom wick. Hopefully that's the bottom wick there. We got 278.20 on that dip, so we'll wait to see where it goes. 278.66 now. I'm trying to buy high quality names in the tech side of things. You guys know we love softy, so let's go to the upside now. We'll turn this frown upside down. There's the DTST long. Finally, I don't know if you're in this name yet.
I just got it. I might have gone a little too early there. I mean, I saw it cracked that 12 even, and then immediately went to like an 85 on the bid, snapped back up, which was the entry I was kind of looking for. But I don't know if I gave it enough time to truly flush out and trade below that 12, because we're basically, we're not barcoding, but if you had like a second chart up, like a microsecond, you'd probably be seeing that tons of action, especially in the dark pools, in front of that like 85, I guess, to like 95 range. I did get some shares there at 95 when it came back up. That's how quick the offer was trailing back down. I saw it tick to 12, went to go cross up to like 12.05, and there was already someone immediately offering below that price. So I got that 95 long. We're now long in DTST. I have not averaged into Citigroup, but I'm getting pretty close to Brendan.
Just checking on Vaxart here. They got, looks like a worldwide license agreement with another bioscience company for a antiviral vape treatment, so vaporized. So through $8 there, huge volume alert went off. 8.5% just popping up here. VXRT.
Guys, how about Square? I mean, you just talked about PayPal there, Brendan. I mean, Square ripping and rocking right now as well. Up that, another 2%. Okay, DTST, here we go. This has been a great buy for me down there. That might be bottom Wickens again. 11.80 long, so we're not going to take out 20 cents. No. We're going to wait for a little bit higher on this one, and we're going to get greedy here, see if we can't test this 12.30 area. I mean, we could take it out now for 30 cents. I mean, 30 cents on $11 ain't horrible, but due to the upside goes DTST. DTST, and we did it again, guys. Spin the money. It's only money when you get out, though. So let's do that right now and get out a little bit there on DTST. There it is, man. A nice little win. 30 cents. We put that 30 cents in our pocket. For now, the dragon is DTST, and you have just been slayed, my friend. So take a back seat on that one as we get out a little bit of half right there at this bottom. Look at this bottom. That's why. I mean, look, I put it up here at 12.50, right? But then when you look at the chart, this is a no-brainer spot right there for me. 12.10. We'll take a little bit out, and then we'll wait to see how far that dips down. But hey, that's a win right there for me on DTST taking that 30 cents.
Anyone looking at fintech, keep in mind Wise had a direct listing. It's a European fintech company, and in London they had a successful direct listing today, probably dragging up some of that zone. I'm sitting on the offer 35, 34 ticks 3 times here on Citigroup. It's holding right around that 25 original entry. This is not a real print. Never actually got to 67.60. So watch for this one. It looks like it's consolidating. I want to add to that short position if I can. I didn't cover any of DTST just yet, but if you watch DD, it is still holding this range. I mean, as long as it holds that 75 bottom, it is setting up for that potential little bit of a bounce play and then a break back to the upside. I'll look for, I'm going to call it like 1203 now, just because that happens to be the opening range top. So forget about 12 even. I'll go 1203 to the long side. As long as 1175 has not broken, I'll leave that stop in, ready to see if it has a bit of a dead cat bounce on DIDI. That, of course, is DD. Zila, I actually was in early in the pre-market, trading when it was pretty active. Oh, give me a break. Don't freeze. There we go. Trading when it was a little bit active in the pre-market for a couple of shorts. It never made that 930 push into 275. It's only going southbound right now on Zila. I would have looked for a push into 275 to short it, but that never came.
All right, your boy just took the long on DD as well, so 1188 there. We'll go long on DD there, and a nice little 4 or 5 cents right now in the money on DIDI. So we'll wait to see how far we go up. We'll get out around a 12 if it goes. We still are, this is a small position because I like to short better. Let's just wait to see if we do get that bounce back to the upside now on DIDI. I do like to short, remember? So we will be, we'll dip into this a little bit more down here, but this is not going to be by any stretch of the imagination a big trade for us. So DIDI, we're going to dip into that one or just take profits. As here we go again, man, spin it for that as that's going. DSTS right back as well. And then here goes Microsoft, man, right back. Man, was about to really hit that money sign there. As Microsoft, we've averaged into it there. You've seen that, a little bit of a dip play there at 279. Then we get 278.70, and then we buy it here. Now our average price is exactly right here, even lower than that, actually. 278.66 now for Softy. And here we go, guys. Look at this pickup on DSTST. Might be bottom Wiccans. Let's see if we get back up here to 1270 or so, guys. Big trading on DST, big trading on DD. Not really, we've got to wait for that to go. And then hopefully, we're fingers crossed on Softy here. Our out's going to be, I mean, just to give you guys are in this in case this gets disastrous, we are going to get out if we break through this 277. So like yesterday's close, we talked about that. There was a little bit of work being done there. That bottom's 276.90, so give it a little bit of room. But right now, Softy, right back to flat for us. So we're going to watch out for that play. We only have 4 plays on right now, including Morgan Stanley hovering around the top. Let's see if that pulls back a little bit. Give it to him, Brendan.
Biohaven Pharmaceuticals, mid-cap pharmaceutical company here, BHVN. This was all-time highs up here. We're all the way back and then some. 110, a big level here from the pre-market. They updated a migraine treatment revenue from their latest quarter that surprised everyone. Apparently, they are profitable, guys.
It's an interesting snapback trade there. You're going to see like trouble for DTST getting past like this 1230 range. I can tell you that offer has been a little bit of a troubling sign. Every time it pops up, the bid is having trouble following through. I'll take some out in front of VWAP. I want to make sure that we get some out there. I can't believe DD's not doing a heck of a lot of anything there. But one from yesterday, Clover, just come on, give me a break. Low, give me a break. Clover just flushed off the open, but into this $10 range. So your $10 even was yesterday's close. It is an interesting defense and is one that almost have to have on here if it tests at 10 even. We're at about 10.15 is the bottom. 10.10 is the actual low. I would start the long in front of the 10.10, but Clover at a key level didn't get that average into Citigroup, but that's back down in the money. Looks like that fade off the top is working.
Yeah, and here goes Softy as well, man. Let's just go to the upside right now. We just took a little bit off there on Microsoft, 278.80. We are now back to a better price, 278.50. But, you know, our average price was 66, so we need Softy to get upside. Our next offer is in the 20s upside. DST, nice win for us, as well as DD, a beautiful win for us, actually. What's up, B? Give us
Newegg, guys, a lot of people talking about Newegg. All-time highs just right now. Again, today, still moving. Shopify also all-time highs. We mentioned these going back to last week, but Jinko Solar up here, recent high territory, 13.5% for JKS.
Yeah, shout out to Shakib, the hydrated one, who was talking all about Jinko Solar a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week again. So shout out to you, Shakib, if you are there. What up to everybody that's part of Hydration Nation? What up to my man Arun, also part of Hydration Nation, honorary member. Okay, Softy, as I just said, I only have 4 positions. So DD long right now, we've been massaging that one. Should have just took it out when we ripped about 12 there. You know, our offer was at 98. We didn't have that. This name's another 30-cent winner, so that's 30 cents back to back. Microsoft now 40 cents in the money. And man, this is the hero play for me, man. Bang with this one. Let's go to the downside, Morgan Stanley. You can go to hell and back, hopefully, right now for us, because this is a big, big trade for me. We've averaged in, hallelujah. So this is a good trade to the downside now. We're making a lot of money on some of these trades right now, guys. I hope you're here with us as this continues to go down. And by the way, Mr. Softy, now $1 in the money. Hot dog cannons for everybody. So we're 4 for 4 right now, and we're getting excited, Neil.
Yeah, we just bounced off VWAP. I mean, look, if Morgan Stanley's going to go to the downside, you know Citigroup obviously flushed at the same time. But look at VWAP right here. It just got to 68 even. So I like this fade over and over again off of that 68. It's 44, but we'll call it 50 top. That's what I mentioned. So I'll play that one as many times as I can. Just got that clover for the first time in front of that 10 even. The 10 evens were close. 10 evens going to stand out. But I want to be playing that bank fade trade as many times as we possibly can there, guys. Just to go back over to, I mean, look, you know what? Forget about DD. DD is literally not moving. It's Newegg that interests me probably the most. I thought this would be CPOP today. For the pop trade, that might be like one of those sort of halt style ideas. It looks to me like Newegg is making that kind of a move. I'm a little surprised on this 33 break that we just got to 37 without a halt in a matter of minutes. If this breaks through 40, you might see that little halt on an open, halt and then reopen trade for me there, guys. You know I love that trade. I'm watching for it on Newegg, not CPOP anymore.
Neg, I renege on that trade. Okay, Morgan Stanley. Guys, another, I mean, those, watch for what Neil's talking about, because you guys often do ask about those closing and halt trades. Sorry, not closing trades. Okay, so we did take another bid down there on Morgan. You could see 2 bids there out in the 80s, and no real reason other than I noticed that we didn't continue. Like, we were celebrating on the way down. We got basically bottom wick again, but then when we noticed that it didn't continue to go, we did push up there, marketed out a little bit of that trade. So we're still in it, man. I'm still in 80% of this Morgan Stanley short, waiting for it to take out that 90-60 level to prove us wrong. Still a nice little win there. Look at that out on Softy as well for the dollar. Bang, bang, bang. Well, when your outs are higher, when you average in and your out is higher than your first average, guys, you know that's worthy of a hot dog cannon right there. So hopefully trading is going well for you. And Brendan's on deck to give us another one.
The Chinese name, DouYu International, DOYU is the ticker, a streaming platform over in China, actually strong, bouncing back in a big way after a down day yesterday. So cleared that high from yesterday, 585, but big volume coming in, DOYU.
Do you? And also words to live by. Actually, apologize. One of the 9:30 plays for that little pop idea. ONCS pops right to the pre-market high. Fail break at $4. It gets to like 405. Anytime if it fails to move after break like that, I'm always looking for that entry point on the rollover. It actually tested a second time. Crazy enough, this actually did happen. That it was on the way down to VWAP. I got one fill at 78, and then it smacked back up to 4. I was able to reload at 95, and now taking some out in front of 365, which was a key level pre-market that we liked before. Below 365, this could get really ugly, but the one that I never took any shares out of DTST. Oh my goodness, every single time I try to say this one, I'm going to bungle it. DTST, it does break down. I've only had that one entry point. We talked about it maybe doing that dead cat bounce. The dead cat part has happened, but there hasn't been a significant bounce in this stock just yet. Worth noting, pre-market, this did break out from an 1120 level. There is a level down at 11 that we should be interested in. Newegg, No halt to the upside, trying to make a top at 37.50. I'd be much more interested in maybe testing, well, daily chart doesn't want to go back, testing that $40 level or a halt as opposed to just jumping in here at 37.50. I wanted that halt reopen style trade. It never happened. I thought it might have hit those conditions for a halt. Clearly not happening on Newegg.
So things are starting to get a little sour on the bank trade. And by sour, I mean like we're not even back to where we were on the open, but they are starting to turn around a little bit here. So turn that frown upside down. Let's go over to JP Morgan quickly just to see. I mean, I think this is the best bank to own by far, but so that's why I'm looking at this as a leadership. As it's okay, so as long as it's starting to come down. And again, if you're ever trading like Neil's in Citigroup here, I'm loaded up in Morgan Stanley. Believe me when I tell you that. But we got to watch some of these other banks, including XLF. Things like that, some ETFs that are part of the bank nation there, so watch out. And just to let you know, I did get a little nervous on that NASDAQ move down, so we did cover a little bit there on a 75 break of Microsoft. So right now we're still long 278.21, looking to pick up lower bids, but just really concerned and a little nervous about Morgan. Give it to us, Bren.
Watch out for the cannabis names, guys. I did notice in the pre-market there was a couple of analyst notes on the positive side, upgrades even, for some of these cannabis names pointing to new deals that are starting to pop up for specifically Tilray. But 1.4 here, straight to the downside so far for Tilray.
So I think a lot of those were multi-state operators, Brendo, when they talked about True Leave and a few other ones on some of those upgrades. So I actually own this stock. I mean, I own tons of cannabis stocks, but this has been a great one. I think they're multi-state operators. We can find that note. There's actually a note from, I think it's Jeffries. And thank you to Mark Roberts for sending that out to us. Would you guys like us to do a research report type of thing, maybe for a membership type thing where we can share some of our research reports with you on a membership side? We are debating doing something like that, and True Leave would have been on there today. There's a few other ones. I'll have to look back, maybe if you have that, Brendan. But they're multi-state operators. So as we get closer and closer to hopefully legalizing the cannabis statewide, federally, then you're going to get a lot of these guys, as opposed to some of the growers, like what you just talked about there. Canopy is my favorite. So let's go over to CGC quickly on the NASDAQ. Is it the NASDAQ? Yeah, it keeps going back and forth. So it's the NASDAQ. So something like a CGC there where you have grower. They also have license. They brought Acreage Farms. So there is something there. But as you can notice, look, just to give you guys some knowledge, you know, CGC today down 2%, and then that True Leave up the 2%. So it does matter where you are. And then my darling has been Grow Generation Brands, where we picked that up in the teens on election night-ish, on some of that October, November, where we knew that obviously the Democrats were probably going to take the House. So there we go. Anyways, Grow Generation Brands to the upside. And Neil, here we go again. You guys know we're loaded. So let's see if Morgan Stanley wants to retrace back to the downside.
Yeah, I actually just got a reload in Citigroup, but it's a neg that's going to be on my mind. It just pulled back after testing the high one more time. Look, it's just, and I understand this is 100% true. I saw someone I didn't actually catch the name, but if you're afraid to trade something like this, I get it. Like, that's a parabolic mover. It's pretty thin on the level 2. You're not forced to do anything. You can always sort of learn here, guys. That's ONCS, which I have not reloaded in just yet. But if you are looking at a Newegg or a CPOP, the spread can open up well past the 30 or 40 cents that you see here, and we're talking moves in dollars and not in cents always. I actually just double checked again. We actually don't have the locates on Newegg. We had them before, so I'll have to double check to see what we can end up paying for those if they become available. Shocked that we don't have any Newegg there. Brendo?
SunPower, guys, another clean energy name just popping up here, just double checking. I don't see anything specifically on it, but this whole group pretty strong so far. There is a decent level going back a week or so at 31.50. So right here, right now for SPWR.
Okay, so we did try, and then like I said, guys, we would be short. I'm sure Neil's short. We're short DD here on that break. It wasn't that hard to get the short. Like, unfortunately, I should be short. Well, it doesn't matter. It's right here. You can get it right now. I should be short right here, but I'm short a little bit worse, 72s on this break because I was long here. Small long. We did add to it at 83. We should have got out. Like, I offered 96s way when it was here, and we missed it, but spilt milk at this point. Let's take DD and see what happens. That's that break. So now we got to hold it until about 12 to the upside there. We don't want to, rest on our laurels too much. Let's go to the downside. Morgan Stanley, man, just keep on going. This is going to be a big trade for me. You guys already know that. So hopefully this continues to work, man. This is going to be the biggest trade on board today, I believe, for either one of us. So let's go, Morgan Stanley. What's up, Beef?
Another one we haven't mentioned in quite some time, guys. Peloton just also clearing its last pivot there on the daily chart, 128 and change. So we got up to 129 even. Big volume spike, though, 4% for Peloton after that bad press a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
And well, gonna get another test at the top on ONCS. Good thing I got it. I was gonna show you guys again in front of VWAP. I'm gonna get out of some Citigroup, but ONCS, which was looking like a fantastic fade trade, it just keeps on doing this. That's a real spike. These are not like fake dark pool prints. It's a real spike into 4. This time I missed it. I don't know how many times I want to go back to this well, but it just keeps on failing up at $4. It did break VWAP, but I'm talking barely. And then that resistance at 365 pre-market turned into support at 365. I mean, if you can't figure out where to get out on some of these snap moves, look at the most obvious thing. Just look where the last level of resistance was, likely to turn to that support like we talked about. I'm glad that DTST is sort of holding up there. But Citigroup, I think is going to give me another shot. Well, okay, I think might give me another shot here in front of that 68.25, 68.30.
Yeah.
No guarantees, though. I want to be net short this name as long as it's below that pre-market high.
Oh, hells yeah, guys. As here we go, man. Hopefully this one. Aw, I love you, Baron. Love you, Baron. My kid just sending me some notes. Oh, that's nice. Screw the show when you got family. Okay. No, I didn't say that. Sorry, producer. Where are you? Okay, 89.70 to the downside. I mean, this is the money trade. This is what we're talking about. We're going to spin this all day, every day, man. Like when we average into this, we had our out, so we were disciplined on the outside of things here. And again, the only trades that we have on right now, DD short that we like. I mean, this is our negative stock of the day, whatever. DTST, we're still holding on to that one. That should be a good winner for us. We didn't average in. Morgan Stanley's been a monster. I don't have to tell you that. And then here we go now, all the way with Softy. Now another 70 cents in the money for Microsoft. If we can get back upside like 279.20 or so, we'll take another piece out for the dollar. But this has been just, again, guys, another bang up day as we do some backflips for you. This has been just a big, big day for me. And it just continues, man. The momentum. Let's just keep it going. Thank you for watching. Notice we stay away from Palantir, down 5% today, guys. So be very, very careful with that trade. As adios, amigos. As there we go to the downside. Here comes Brendan with the bank stocks. And then we're just going to slap that to the downside now as we are now 50 cents in the money on Morgan Stanley. And we just take that bid right there at 67. This is how you know that we've got some serious shares, guys. Bang, 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 all the way to the bank, Neil. Let's go.
And I'm back in that ONCS. Look, every time it's got to be smaller size. I've said this before. 1, 2, 3, 4 times off this top at 4. It's just too obvious of a level for retracement. I'm even taking bids a little bit more shallow. Now I'm thinking about 10 cents, 15 cents. Forget about that 25 to 30 that you were getting earlier. This stock is looking hella strong through like a 405 potential breakout. So just be careful trading ONCS. I still love that Citigroup short, but you got to go over to what looks like it's trying to make its move finally. DTST is the one that hasn't worked so far. It was that dip buy. We love the dip buy idea, the wipeout potential dip buy idea. It did happen. I have not gotten in or out of any shares at this point, but it's putting in another test of 12 even. If it can't break through here, might be in some trouble in DTST. Just going to go back over to DD. I didn't get the trade there, Sean. I was look, at the same time, too many stocks at once. For me, adding to that to DD on a breakdown trade when I was already in half a dozen at the particular time where I had stop orders out on, just a little bit much for me. It actually held that low. The breakout trade is off. I only wanted DD breaking out at 12.05. If it could have held that key level at 11.75. Once it takes it out and you got that downward trend, I don't want that breakout. You can revisit that later on in the session. Brendo?
Just checking on Calix, guys. A little, I guess not terribly little. Calix, CALX. This is a software maker trading in New York, just trying to get above that last pivot there. 50 right above us here. They came out with their shareholder letter yesterday, updated their current quarter, but they don't report until the end of the month. But a little bit thinly traded for CALX.
Little bit. Okay, there goes Softy. Let's go. Where am I, man? I thought we were going to get out of this stock at some point. I don't even know if I have an offer out. It doesn't look like I do. But here goes Softy, man. Another dollar in the money. We'll take it. There it is. We'll take a little bit out there at 16 there on Softy as we'll get out there. A nice one. That's another clean dollar for us. So, I mean, hopefully you're riding this with us today, man. DD, hopefully this is going to be a big winner as we've averaged into this one. Let's just hope on that. DTST, already a big winner for us, but right now hovering around flat. We already took 30 cents right there. We'll see if we get back. Maybe we'll take the next out right here. We'll see on that one. We should have averaged in because my out was going to be lower. So Morgan Stanley, I mean, this one has really, really just been perfect for me. I mean, perfect would have been up here, but that's why we added our biggest position out of all the shorts was right here. And we talked about that as we were doing it. And then Softy, I mean, there's nothing else. I just love Microsoft. We'll continue. Did you know that? That's one of my favorite stocks as well. So I want everybody to also notice, honestly, that when we're talking about Palantir, my love for it, you notice that today we're not talking about Palantir. You can't just trade the same stocks every single day because you think you have a good read on it, right? I mean, if you like the short in Palantir, like I don't have a good read on Palantir right now. So that's why we're leaving it alone. I even tried to look back on PLTR. What's up to Aaron Rodgers and Bryson DeChambeau as well, taking down the GOAT, Tom Brady, and Phil Mickelson yesterday. Okay, so downside here, this is what I mean. Look at the 20-minute chart. I mean, there's no love. We got out of Palantir up here, 2660, just of 15%, 10-15% of our position, but maybe reloading it back very soon makes a lot of sense. 2350, maybe a drop spot there, but again, not enough work done on Palantir right now. I have to find some better spots, so I'm going to leave it alone and just continue to do what I'm doing best here, and you guys know what that is.
Here comes that Newegg, guys. It's weird because we just got locate. Like I was just able to get locates like not even a couple of minutes ago, a couple of seconds ago, right when it broke that 40 even area, guys. So it broke 40, got to 41, and is now retracing a little bit. So I'm going to throw my stop. Look, I mean, you guys have probably seen this before. I'm throwing my stop in front of that fresh high. It was a bit of a fail break because it immediately slammed back down. You know I like that entry point, so I'm in Newegg. Like seconds after, it's like, okay, yeah, after it makes 3 parabolic moves up, that's when you're going to give the locates available to us. So I am in it. I have a stop at that high of the day. I'm willing to make top wick on a trade like this. You have to be if you're going to trade one of those. And it's what? Already 10 o'clock? Time to go to Brendan for Happening Now.
It is indeed 10 o'clock. Let's have a quick look, guys, at where we stand at this point. Pretty much where we were in the pre-market. We have come back to the upside for both the Dow and the S&P. You can see the NASDAQ still leading here, although off the highs, 0.4, 0.35 for the 100. The composite still, though, in green territory, which is nice to see. Here in Toronto, the TSX 0.2 to the upside. I was just going to mention the Russell was trying to get back to positive, but has kind of fallen short. Basically flat on the day. Mark Roberts talking a little bit about, went too far there. Mark Roberts talking a little bit about the small cap index. A few things we were talking about in the pre-market. If you joined us, space here back on the list today. Yes, straight to the downside, 47 to 44.5. Just actually broke 44.5 day lows right now, guys. For Virgin Galactic, where Apple, another one on the list this morning, just recently made a day high above 144. So we are creeping ever so slowly up to all-time highs for Apple, guys.
Always good luck, Brendan, when we come out of the segment with Brendan. And if I just got in the position, it's usually good luck for me. We'll go whiz action on neg. Waited for that 40 test. It was either going to be a halt trade or the test of 40 even. We said that when it was at 36. It tests 40. You get the break. The second it fails at that price, doesn't break that 41, it's like get in. I'm able to get 40, 44. A lot of times on that move, I'm chasing it down to like 39.90. This time we're able to actually get some shares in there. Thank you, NASDAQ scan, the routing key preference. It's not a pay. Look, I literally use the NASDAQ scan key as my primary route key. But I want to get the last of these shares out, not at VWAP, a little key here. I want to get the rest of these shares out after the $1.50 win in front of that cluster at 36.37. There's been no halts on this just yet, and I'm not saying it's like superstition, but when there's no halts, when I think there should be, a lot of times the move isn't done. So if we don't break 37.50, I'll try to get out for a $3 win on the last of these shares. But Newegg waited patiently for that move and then executed. Thank goodness we got those locates. Thank you, DTTW. Miss V is at the big screen. She's got a name for us here.
Hey Neil, Micron is down more than 1%. In your opinion, what would be a good level for buying deep, or maybe you see any good short opportunities on Micron today, guys?
Well, having already missed out on that fantastic short off of the open, so, I mean, are you kidding me? Like, that looks really, really good. 15-minute chart. Look, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, we might have mentioned Micron. I think we at least talked about that when they came through with their earnings. And I said, look, you probably are waiting until we get back into this like double bottom here at 76. I mean, it dipped by in the day trade. I don't see anything that I love, especially on a Fed minute day. I'd probably stay away from that at least. I have the names that you really, really prefer. I'd go with the big tech for the actionable trades. I see a weight back into like 76 to 77. Look, it's easy to say because I do actually own Micron myself. and have had it for quite some time. So, I'm not considering taking anything off, but I wouldn't be adding until you get into those mid 70s. You just broke the 50 period. The trend is down, and I didn't even notice that sell-off off the open. Clearly that was a good trade, but it's come and gone, guys. You can't chase lost money or miss money.
DD right now down to 1170. We spin the money on that one as well. Great trade on Newegg. Great trade on DD right here coming through. We're going to go 4 for 4 right now. Big time 4 for 4 right here, guys. Look at DD. Let's go, DD. What up, Bren?
We talked yesterday a little bit about some cloud security names. We mentioned Cloudera was one of them. Zscaler just popping up here, guys. That's all-time high. So 231.50, I should say. Was all-time highs, pulling back a little bit here, but Berenberg out with a positive note on ZS today.
And then Google and Soft, yeah, Zscaler, good name there. We saw a CrowdStrike, amazing upside move as well. Look at Softy, guys, now $1.50. Like some of these trades that we have, like 8 cents here on DD, whatever, but we're gonna go lower and lower. So this is gonna be a big trade for me for sure. I hope so. Anyways, that's been a big trade. That's 14 cents now with the money. Morgan Stanley's 50 cents in the money. We've just been catching out. This is my biggest trade net-wise, but Microsoft is there, man. I mean, Microsoft, a big move, $1.40 in the money. So that's 4 for 4, man, today. We did average into this DTST. We're stuck here at 1150, so this is not a problem. But again, if we can get back to like this area, 1190-ish now with our fact that we're stuck at 1158, that's a good price for us. So let's wait to see if we can go to the upside. Otherwise, we'll take our first losing trade of the day, which is pretty good considering we've already got 39 trades on board. But Morgan Stanley, a big one. Microsoft, a big one. DD, a big one. And then hopefully DTST can get going as well. But what a day, guys. What a big day.
Yeah, and still hanging on to that neg. Look, did I look a gift horse in the mouth? I mean, maybe you could say so. I did say I did want to get out in front of VWAP there, and I could have taken it in front of 38, and I'm sitting at 37.50. But you got to correct them. You got to correct it when it, You can't cry over spilt milk, guys. You got to correct that error as it happens. So in that particular situation, I'll cancel the 37.55 bid because now if 38 breaks, it's likely to move more than 45 cents on a level break like that. I think we're getting into that cluster at like 37 even or like 36 and change. So I can go ahead and move my bid to the downside. If I'm going to be looking the gift horse in the mouth, I should be looking for a bigger return. If 38 holds, we still have a stop at high of the day. Can't lose on this trade just yet. But that's if I don't get back in at the top, which is still a possibility if it tests 41 again. Brendan?
We saw a little bit of a negative reaction there for the market, guys, at 10 o'clock. The JOLTS job openings number, that was the May number. It's 2 months delayed. Came in a little bit light. So 9.2 versus 9.38 million expected. So coming off of Friday's jobs number, remember, that was a little bit negative for that number there at 10 o'clock.
All right. Thanks, Brendo, for that one. And the cash cow, that is DD, just keeps coming in. And then Morgan Stanley, pay my bills, as Morgan Stanley just keeps on cutting to the downside, man. This has just been a trade that I've absolutely destroyed here today. So thank God that we had that. I mean, if you guys just look, man, I mean, the sticky note today, there's DD again, man. I'm just showing you guys. That's another 20-cent win right there. Just to show you guys, DD, Softy, Facebook, Space we didn't get into. Then there's Morgan Stanley at the very bottom. I did talk about AMC as well, but the sticky note reigns supreme again. Hopefully you guys can keep on watching the show, keep on following at Trader TV Show. We're going to try to get to 22,000 followers. And here's the sticky note again, 92 likes. Thank you so much. If you guys are just seeing this now, we called the short yesterday. Let's continue to short today. What else do we need there, guys? Be careful at 12. We were careful at 12. Microsoft, buy all the dips. Right there. Morgan Stanley, short. So yeah, anyways, it's all good. I mean, whatever. Sometimes that sticky note fails. I just can't remember when. Look at DD right now as we go Dance City, Neil. This is a big trade for DD.
I'm starting to look at where I'm going to get out this Citigroup, guys. It actually just made a bounce off 67.65 here. It's going to be retesting VWAP. At this point, I'm not thinking I'm going to get that high anymore. And now that you're actually seeing in the market, try to pull back a little bit. And it's been a good trade. We're still in the actual range, this $1 range that it's put in the pre-market. We're still firmly in there. If we can hold VWAP, I think that's where you got to be thinking about, where I will be thinking about averaging in. But at this point, if it doesn't break this double bottom, covering it for what will be like an 80 to 90 cent win is going to make a heck of a lot of sense to me. So I'm going to throw my bid down there just to make sure we take that profit and then look back to 68. If that is a new level to short, then that's what I'm going to play. The one that is not working is DTST, but it's still holding that 11 to 11.20 area. And then ONCS, which was, I mean, look, that was a fantastic short off $4, and it gave it to you multiple times. I said the last time you got to go for smaller size because it was just gearing up to do something crazy. It did, well, I mean, it didn't go that far, but it did finally break out. It got to 420. Sorry, no, it got to 423, so past that 420 mark, and then gave a bit of a dip buy opportunity, which I'm now in. If you can't beat them, join them, ONCS, just sort of powering its way up. Every time sort of fail breaking down through VWAP and then holding this 385 level, then breaking out. I'm going to turn to the long side on ONCS after playing it short pre-market and then at the open as well. So starting it at 409 here. Another long to add to that, of course, DTST, which isn't really working out too well. That could be the one that stinks, I do think.
Yeah, I was tweeting this out, man. The short DD trade right now, guys, a big one. We'll tag out Trader TV Live here as we go. And I'm going to slow things down now because I know it's only 10:07, but honestly, the kind of love that we've been having right now for some of these names, like look at that cover, 1151 right there on DD. So we've been talking about that. Wow, what a great morning this has been. Let's go over a little bit here onto some crypto. You can see that right here. This is the BTC chart right now. We're just hovering around 34 and change, looking to make a little bit of moves. This is a 1 minute chart, so really not doing a whole hell of a lot right now is crypto. So excuse me, we're going to wait on that one. I don't know where my Ethereum chart was. I sort of meant to show you guys Ethereum, but I don't see it right now. So, oh, here it is, Ether USD. There we go. This made a little bit of a move. This is a 1 minute chart again, up to 24 and now faded back in 2380. So just look out for crypto today. It doesn't look like it wants to do anything. It didn't do much. Sometimes you get these big moves, but right now we got to wait. I think a 2360 break downside on Ethereum might be something as well. Just like I love a 24 break. The high was 2408. We take that out there. That's no. I think the next break of 24 gives us that run that we need, guys. But yeah, whether or not it's banks, small caps, large caps. Oh, and Steven said, "Oh, why do you never talk about?" And it's not about calling us out. I'm fine. I told you my break is going to be right here and it's not even that big of a hit. This is going to be for me a 58-cent hit on DTST, guys. That's nothing. I've already taken, I mean, as long as my trigger happens there. Sorry, my trigger's a little bit lower, just a couple cents lower than this. I've already taken that 30 cents, right? So is it going to be a hit? Yes, it is. This was only on half. We add that half back. So there's the out, and that's completely fine. We've made so much on everything else that this one, it's a loser, and I don't have a problem talking about it. We take it in there, we take some out, we average it on this consolidation, some of these bottoms, we take that fill, and then it breaks back down through 11, so we get out. I mean, there's 11 right there. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that every single trade that I put on is 100% real and in efforts to make some cash. So when I lose, obviously we get upset, and when we win, it's party time, but that is what trading's all about. You're not going to win every single day, although sometimes that is what happens. You got to get lucky to be good sometimes, guys.
Anybody that wins every single day, well, I shouldn't say that. Every single trade is definitely cheating.
Right. Daily, it's like 90%.
The level for me, guys, I'll show you guys. I have pre-market low at 1085 here on DTST. That's my stop. The only way I'm adding to this position is if we actually bounce off this level and then retake this 1125. If it does that, I think it's worth a bit of an add. That's almost like putting two trades together, because you have to look at it. If I was flat, what would I be doing? And I'd be looking at a breakout of like 1125. So you almost put those two trades on. They would both have the same stop anyways. So until we break 1085, I'm still in this one. I did think it was going to be the stinker today, at least off this price action at 1150. And that continues to be true, though it's still holding that low. Brendan, what's up, bud?
A couple of the pharmaceuticals popping up here. VRPX, which is Verpax Pharmaceuticals. They provided an update on a couple of their drugs that are in their pipeline today. That is ATOS, but have a look at VRPX, guys, just popping up. But I want to mention ATOS as well, because they started a COVID-19 therapy test in Australia as of today. So it did pop up in the pre-market here back above 6, but volume coming back in, guys. They're trying to support some levels that we saw yesterday. Still up 2% for ATOS as well.
Okay, so people talking about Newegg. I'm not on it, but Neil is. I want to talk about that, Neil?
No, it just halted upside. Of course,
okay.
We took the $1.50, and then of course that short's going to lose. It was a 41 stop. We had a 40.44.
What?
Now it's halted to the upside at 46.21. You guys know I like halt trades. Newegg, of course. This is 50 minutes. I mean, this is what the stock has done the last couple of sessions. I understand, always tread pretty lightly with stocks like this. It's likely to open up in 5 minutes. It could open up in 10 because that's the way the halt rules work. The way that I like to play this is either significant levels, obvious 50, I mean, that's going to stand out like a sore thumb, or a failure to hold above that reopen price. So, well, the whole price, 46.20, I'll call it, it's 21s. If we can catch something between 45, let's call it 50, and that 46 area on a failed jailbreak on the reopen, like maybe it can't get past 47.50. Definitely, if it can't get past that 50 area, that's what I'd be looking for. I like those tighter stops. You have to have an out first. If it does open to the upside and looks like it's going to test a halt up again through 50, I would not short it right into a halt. I think that's kind of a crazy sauce, shorting it into a halt. You don't want to get short, and then a halt's like 20 cents above you. That would be kind of crazy. So that 50 level, I need to see a rejection or the open in and around that 45 to 50 range, so 45, 50 range holding fort on Newegg. Brendan, what you got, bud?
Yeah, I was reading an interesting article on Newegg yesterday, guys. They had a bunch of NVIDIA GPUs in an auction because of the scarcity of them. So a lot of them were auctioned off at closer to manufactured retail suggested price versus what they would charge for these GPUs. So that was part of the catalyst that we saw yesterday for that big move in Newegg.
I hit that because I actually have some spare GPUs. Maybe I'll put them up on Kijiji or Craigslist. I have a lot of NVIDIA GPUs and AMD from when we were Bitcoin mining. Okay, we'll hit that again anyways because look at this. There we go, man. This is, like, you guys want hot fire trades? Like, this is $2 in the money on Microsoft. We talked about it on here. This is my only note here. Buy the dips on Softy today. And there it is, man. Thank you again. Someone was putting in there so much fire. There it is. Nula. Oh, Nulu. What's up, Nulu? Yeah, Microsoft's been hot fire today, guys. Big time trading there. Yeah, we'll talk about all these names, guys. Neil and I will try to watch the chat as much as we can. Right now, $2 in the money on Softy, a banger on Morgan Stanley, man. We've just been getting out at these levels. We'll see if we can hold it even just a little bit longer to the downside right now. But I mean, we are cruising. We'll lift the trophy one more time. You guys want the oh my god? Okay, I mean, this is a little bit annoying, but there we go. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
There we go. We actually taped Valeria's voice to do that. Oh, now I'm getting the death stare. That's why we had to do that. That's not Valeria's voice.
No, come on.
Yeah, you need a little Russian accent on that voice. Look at the trades we have on right now as we're at all days high. Thank you, Ms. V. There we go. 20 cents in the money on DD. What a great cover that was at 11.50. Morgan Stanley 70 cents now, basically at its day low in the market day low. And then Softy's at its day high. So we're going to go 3 for 3. We'll kick back, relax, sip some cognac because it is about that time, guys. We're having a hell of a lot of fun, and I hope you guys are as well. Big time movements.
Yeah, you guys know I don't really ever relax, especially looking at NEG, which is opening up in 5 minutes, in maybe like 50 seconds or so. There is this other one, BON. It's way too little volume for me to be concerned with, but it is a volatility halt, and I know it has been closed for like 25, 30 minutes. I'm not sure why, so I can't give you an answer who was asking about that. I've covered my Citigroup, so we'll go walk on a little bit of psychedelic water there. It did make a bit of a double bottom. It has tested that pre-market low at 67.50. There was no chance to get back in at VWAP, though. That's the only downside. Newegg is about to, at least I think it's about to open. It could be 10 minutes. If it is 5, it is going to be in about 30 seconds or so. And this is one that's going to be front of my mind, obviously. I love trading these. Tread lightly, I would say. That's just personal advice. If you're not forced to trade everything that's moving. It's up 70%. There's probably nothing that's more parabolic than this today, at least that I can find. So yes, it's exciting. Buying at the top, I think, is literally insane. Shorting it can be insane too if you don't have a bit of a plan. So I always have to have a stop. Even if it seems like a ridiculously tight stop, trust me, I might make a top wick on one of these and it looks like I got out like a horrible exit point. Immediately testing to the high side, but it has not broken 47.50. It is still setting up for that potential trade for me there. At 47.50 is that current high. I'll give it one more chance to test that high before I try to get into this fade trade, never risking more than hopefully a couple of dollars. Slippage is going to be the other concern. And there goes the breaks, hands off the keyboard. 50 even is that next level. 49.70 it looks like it tested. Oh my goodness, if I just stood in front of that like a tool, that 50 trade probably would have worked, but I did not want to get short into what could have been a halt, and if it broke 50, it was probably halting.
All right, Neil may never relax, but we do it over here, guys. You got neg is a big trade there, so you got to focus on that. There's no doubt there. So we're just going to continue to look at some of our trades. But you know what? I'd actually, before we sit back and relax again, let's just look over at Facebook because Microsoft is making that move. NQ, yeah, let's go. If it loads up, we'll see. But Newegg right now, good trade. Obviously, that's moving. We'll look at that. But there's that Facebook. I stayed away from it. We talked about that we liked Facebook today as well as Microsoft. But then we got that headline, and again, I don't know what to make of it, other than it's just another sue or another lawsuit with former President Trump. It looks like wanting to sue a couple of, I don't know if it's everybody, I guess, that's banned him. So I guess it's Facebook is the main one there because Facebook, of course, in control of Instagram and WhatsApp. So you can look at that. NEGG, I don't have shortable shares on this yet, so I got to get them. But okay, that's still the Facebook chart. But taking out 50 is most likely here, I guess, as it just tries to go again on this, another 80% mover there. Neil's been on this one, so watch out for that. That DTST, this is where we keep talking about this time and time again, as Microsoft is now just off, man. I mean, bang, bang, bang. Like when we average into something like that, this is what we're talking about when you say you're trying to hold on to something there. And someone said about, why don't we show our share size? I think we've talked about that over and over again. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We've talked about why we don't show our share size because it's about just, the executions and getting in and getting out. I mean, I've told you the kind of streak that I've been on with my P&L. We talk about you can't win every day. You can't. But it seems just like if you're being a little conservative in this market, plus picking the right names on the right days, you can pretty much win every single day, but it doesn't mean you're going to win every single trade. So let's just make sure that's right. And then look what's happening right now. I mean, this is another thing. We'll go awesome.
Awesome.
Because there goes, that was Valeria's voice as well. There goes Morgan Stanley to the downside, and we're holding this. This is a monster trade for me. We talk about some of these ideas, and again, I just using my own notes, putting into work, getting this done, trading the right names. For me, that's what it's all about, and hopefully you're able to see some of these trades.
I will do, it's not, okay, I'm not flushing the stock down the toilet. Any stock that's up from 27 at the close and is now sitting at $47. You can't rightfully flush down the toilet, but it did fail at 50. So there was that chance. So the first, look, you guys saw it. The first time it tested that 50 even, I did not take those shares. It gave you a second chance. The second I saw it creep up there, I'm telling you the bid couldn't follow. That's one of the things we always talk about. If I can show you on level 2 what that might look like, this is still Citigroup. But on Newegg, when I say the bid doesn't follow, what I'm sort of getting at here is you're going to break back up to what was like a 49.70 high, and the bid can't crack even like those quarters. The second I saw that happen, I short into that move. That's what it looks like in the top. It's going to look like, oh yeah, you were just sitting in front of the top wick. No, you're just staring at level 2 to get that jam trade. I do take shares off in front of that halt price. That's 46.20. That is always going to be usually that first support. The second leg ended up being that 44. I actually thought I had a chance to get down to 42 there, but the bid just kept on. This is relentless stock, guys. The bid just kept on inching higher every single time it would break that 44. I said enough is enough. I got out for a $5 winner there. It was very, very quickly. It was either going to be the halt reopen. That wasn't the best setup, but the trade-off of 50 ended up being the good one. I did let it test 50 twice, and it's a good thing I got out of it quick, because if this breaks 50 again, it could be facing another upside halt. Now, that's actually a good look for the bears, the fact that it just got to 49 and failed, but Newegg, I'm probably not going to get away from this stock. I might be trading it all day long as it's around these highs. It's such a crazy mover here. As long as you can find those good entries and have a bit of a stop level, we're going to be all systems go. Just broke 50 again. If it halts, I'm back on that bad boy. Brendo, what's up, bud?
Hey guys, yeah, small cap time. Let's have a look at a few that were moving around in the pre-market. We were talking about this one, BDR, right before the open. If you start on the daily chart, first off, you can see above 2 up to about 225. There was that kind of consolidation area and resistance on the daily time frame. So we got up to 190, 195 in the pre-market. So 190 up to 2 if you wanted to give it that much room. Didn't have to anyways, never even came close to getting back to the highs from the pre-market. That one's been nothing but straight to the downside ever since the open. OPNT, another one that popped up just before the open. There was positive news on this aftermarket yesterday, so we got up to 1850 19, which was an area initially on the consolidation in the aftermarket. So that ends up being resistance here in the pre-market this morning. Gave you a test of 18.50. I just took the break to the downside. That was $3 to the downside for OPNT, a nice mover today. Very, very thin, so be careful with that one. And then Dare Biosciences, another one. You mentioned they teamed up with Merck for a skin cancer treatment study. 250, 260 was the top up here in the pre-market. It could have given all the way back to there and then some. This stock is very thick, lots of liquidity, so it could have taken as much as you want. It's struggling here at 2, but volume kind of dying off for Dare, guys. Back to you.
All right, yeah, big monster trade there for Neil there on NEG. That's why, I mean, I went over there and looked at that at 50. That's, I didn't have the shortable shares, but that's a great trade all the way back in on NEG. We just took a little bit out there at 89.33 for the dollar. I mean, we're in, like, look at Softy. We are in this name down here, guys. I just wish we didn't take this part out right there because we already had an out at that spot. But again, that was just to go and coincide. We had $1 in the money at that point as well, but that was just to coincide with that level right there. So that's where we had back-to-back outs. And yeah, so now we'll hold a little piece as it just continues to rip to the north side there. So thank you guys. Google as well, making new highs as well, all-time highs, 250, 25.28 was its previous all-time high. And again, no better name, in my opinion, to be invested in. We can always talk about Apple, but I like Google better than Apple, so that's been all the way to the upside. This is my largest weighting by far. DD looking to bounce around a little bit. We talked about Micron and that day that was having. AMD also having themselves a day. I'm thinking that this is... Oh, yeah, that's right. The daily chart doesn't work on this. I was thinking that maybe we start to pair some off a little bit on our AMD longs. We know that we're long in the 70s on this name. It's been a nice ride up. I'm also hella long NVIDIA. The last buy on that was 600. We tweeted that out. But right here, guys, this kind of a level, we've dipped up there. We've gone up here too many times, like one top, two tops. Was that just the third top there? I mean, it needs to get a little higher for that to be the case. But look at this fading back in right now. So we're going to watch out for AMD very, very carefully. I'm going to find a stop to get out of that at some point. But AMD right now, not really great movement here today.
And Neg just did I'll explain this sometime what a fake out halt looks like, where it looks like it's about to halt. And then I've been on the other side of these where you're taking like a long into it. Well, if it's at the bottom anyways. But this one at the top on Neg, I will tell you this, no matter what, I'm short at the high of the day here. And you've seen what this stock has done. No matter what, I don't care where it opens. I am covering minimum 50%, always on the reopen. That is what you like. That's the thing. Like, at any time I'm in a halt trade, that is just a hard rule for me. It doesn't matter whether I think it's fantastic. I don't care if I have the top. I don't care if this thing goes to 100. Well, I do care if it goes to 100. That would really, really suck. But you've got to have a plan of action. And if I find myself trapped in a halt, it is just a hard rule that I'm getting out the majority of my position on that reopen. It's a liquidity event. It's the safest way to play those halt trades. So even if it opens to the downside, I'm still going to be covering it. I don't care. Brendan, what's up, bud?
Quickly on that Dare, guys, I mentioned it actually wasn't teaming up with Merck. They got a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation grant for some research for DAER. It was the other one that was the Merck collab. Wanted to mention this one as well, VRPX. 30%, guys. We got above 6 there briefly, up to 650. So another volume alert there, up 30% for that Verpax Pharmaceuticals.
All right, Vertex Pharmaceuticals. Oh yeah, you mentioned that earlier. That was a good name there for us. I'm just looking here. I mean, we haven't traded yet, but good name to look at for volume. I'm just trying to watch out for this softy level. This is all-time highs. So obviously, when you look at a daily chart, there's absolutely nothing here for Microsoft except for blue skies ahead. This has been a great buy. Longer term, we just picked some up at 240 level. They're right here, guys. Like that was a gift for sure. So now we'll have to wait to see where it's going to go. But I'm going to get out. Let's just use 280 as our out. So we break back down below 280. Let's take this out for that $2. I mean, we're long at 278.21. We have $1 in the money as Morgan Stanley now at its day's low, right? We talked about that earlier as well. And then DD, we got the best out we could at 1150 off of the best short that we could have here, 1180. So not too bad there, but we're getting a little bit, long in the tooth here for some of these trades. So I think we got to start looking, like I just mentioned, maybe exiting some of these big winners. We're almost out of Morgan. So this is probably a good little area. We've already been down here in the pre-market. So let's take another piece out and then we'll see where we go. If we continue to make moves, that's fine. But we only have like 10% left, a little bit more than 10%, like 13, 14% left on Morgan Stanley, guys.
Just alert there, Virgin Galactic, that 43 level, that actually came in today. Didn't think we'd get to look at that one today, but we are staring it in the face. 43 even. This is a 15-minute chart, guys, so it is that double bottom when it reversed off 60 even, then had the gap up on the launch date news, which to me wasn't necessarily huge news. You knew it was coming. Now 43 has come back into play. With a level like this, I think you can, it's hard to, or at least I don't think you can take a long position. I just started one in front of the quarters without at least allowing it to test through. So if it does break 43, you probably want to be giving it to like a 42.80 or 42.75. Otherwise, you're just so highly likely to get wicked out on any kind of a move. It's such an obvious level that a lot of people are going to be looking at it. So you're standing in front of the sword here. You have to have a stop somewhere. I like using that 75 as opposed to even 43, although I won't add to the position until it tests 43 specifically. As I said on Newegg, I don't care where it opens. I'm getting at least half the position out on that reopen trade. That will be in a matter of seconds, guys.
Okay, we could stay on there. Yeah, okay, well, you'll go back to Neil once that opens back up there. Just to let you guys know, we did put in our softy trade to get that out if we do break below this 279.80 area right around here, this consolidation. I mean, I'm, debating just taking it out right now, but I think we could even run. So I think like the 70 cents that we're going to give up here on the downside might be worth it on the upside if we can take out this 280.50. I mean, that is the high right now on this trade. So this is a $2 winner. And then, I mean, Morgan Stanley just keeps on paying us, man. Like, I just wish that we would have held all of these. And unfortunately, we get out. Again, the discipline. Neil's talking about discipline over there on some of those halt trades. This is the discipline that holds. Okay, go ahead, Neil. What's up?
I know. Look, guys. And it's going to happen to you in a situation like this. There's a rule that, and again, this is something from a lot of traders on the floor used to talk about, like the 3-move sort of like halt trade. And in that fake out halt, it is a lot of times a good entry point. Now, candidly speaking, I had half the amount of shares here than I had on that last trade, but I still got trapped in it. I just was able to get out for a $4 winner on the rest of my shares. If I actually hold this, it immediately rejects that high and then comes to the downside, so it looks like a good re-entry point. But if you have a rule, you follow that rule. And I was trapped in that halt off that high of the day to the short side. It's just, I don't care. I'm going to get out right where it opened, essentially flat. And I could have held onto the whole thing and had a $4 winner and been like sort of laughing, but the stock is still going up. Like, what if I'm not fast enough to immediately identify, look where I got out here? Did I think that it was going to go past 49? I mean, where were we shorting before at that 50 level? It rejected that 50 break. If I thought it was good for a short before, on the way back down, I'm going to just run to the hills on that trade. So in this particular case, it might have seemed instantaneously like, oh my goodness, Neil, you should have held on to that one. Nope. Flat most of the trade there, and then only for a third of my position am I able to get that $4 winner, and it just halted again to the upside at 58. Now, I don't really, I don't know, 65, 75? I don't know where this thing is going. I still think it's crazy not to take profit if you're long on this stock, but you have to have a plan of action if you're short. I was trapped in that short on the halt. Getting out, I still think it was the right call, even though it could have been an even bigger winner if I had held on to some and then quickly made that decision when 50 broke to just use that liquidity as my out. I will continue to revisit this trade over and over after every single halt because it's a setup that's worked for me and I make money doing it. It doesn't mean it's a trade for everybody. It is a pretty crazy stock to be trading. And if you're long this thing at like $27 and haven't taken profit, that's 100% return. You'd have to be nuts to hang on to this, in my opinion.
So Microsoft comes right back. Yeah, exactly. Right back to the downside now. So wait a second. Okay, we got out at 90 there. Okay, we give up a little bit of ghost there on Softy as that continues to go down. But look what that is happening right now with Morgan Stanley, $1.34 in the money right now on Morgan, and we just tweeted out our favorite character as we short all the banks. Sorry to scare you there, Valeria. What's up, Brendo?
10:30, guys. That means coming up in 15 minutes. Great guest coming through today. We mentioned this one. If you joined us in the afternoon yesterday, I should say. WPP Energy coming through to talk a little bit about blockchain, a brand new platform they just announced yesterday that they have acquired as far as blockchain technology and NFT technology is concerned as well. So that's coming up in about 15 minutes. Don't miss that. First off, let's get a look at what is happening over in Europe. Miss V has been watching what's going on over there. What's up?
Hey Brandon, European markets are back to the positive territory. Software company SAP trading in Germany is up more than 3% after a double upgrade to buy from Bank of America. Back to you.
Yeah, holding up a little bit better across the pond, guys, than we are in North America so far.
So I see this question about manipulation in VRPX. I apologize. I haven't really looked at this stock, and I see it's also halted here. So I'm gonna take a quick look at it. But if you guys can explain, I didn't see who was asking that question. What do you mean by manipulation specifically? I'd love to have a look at it. Certainly, it's harsh words to say stock manipulation or price manipulation. It does happen, obviously. I see it trading up 40%. I see it halting. The volume is pretty good. NEG's volume is 20 million. So clearly it's going to catch my attention much more, and I want to have that one off the reopen. But just give me a clarification as to what you mean there, because I'm not really sure, and I have not been tracking the stock. We did have one long and a tight stop on Virgin Galactic at that 46 level, but in the pre-market prep, I like 43 and 44. 43 is where it's bounced here, and oh my goodness, am I sitting here looking a gift horse in the mouth? Yes. I was looking a gift horse in the mouth. Give me a break. If you guys see this and you're trading price action, it bounced off that 43. I never got that re-entry because it bounced off 43, and I said I want to wait till it tests that level to get more in. A little bit busy at that time in something called Newegg, which is much more important if you're trading that stock to focus on it. But at this cluster here at 43.75 into about 43.90, good place to take some profit on Virgin Galactic. Look, it's a clean downward trend. I think scalping at next level up to VWAP here makes some sense to me. There's all kinds of risk going into the weekend for this stock, and I feel like risk off had to happen at some point. 43 was the obvious level that stood out for a couple of days in a row here. So we'll play off that for now. Wait for Newegg to come in, but I want to see what's going on with that. I guess that VRPX stock. I just see that it's halted. I'm not sure what you guys mean by manipulation.
Okay, just looking through Twitter there. Thank you guys again. Just responding to some of you guys there on Twitter. Okay, Microsoft, we're out of Softy there, and good out. We'll see if that was a good out or not. I mean, obviously to the high side, we explained why, and again, this is the point of the show, right? I explained why I was holding that, and then why we were getting out there. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense, and then we'll see where Softy goes from here. Look, I can't continue this without looking at Palantir one more time. This is possibly now a little overdone, down 7% today. So we've looked at Palantir before. This is a possible bouncing spot there. We did get that. Look at this high volume. Just brought this to my attention right now on that 23 break. So let's take a first position right now on Palantir, but the NASDAQ's going to be in trouble. This is the one thing, man. We talked about this, the relationship between Palantir and the NQ, right? So if NASDAQ is in trouble here, then so will be Palantir. But I did miss this one, and I just want to show it to everybody. It's this volume spike on that 23 break that brings it back to the upside there, right? Obviously, you're going to get a lot of volume going through these levels. It's not that tells us it. It's this wick to the bottom and then a push back through 23 that gave you that little bump, is I think anyways. I mean, obviously the NASDAQ starting to go here, but Palantir's gone. If you look here, the NASDAQ, just to show you guys here, the NASDAQ, it's just starting to go now on this candle. They're both 1 minute charts, but Palantir has gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes now upside, right? So you have to watch out for that little bottom wick there, 22.95. Followed with volume, followed with a key level. So there's a little bit of an education. Maybe I'll do a tip and trick on that today for Palantir. I hope all you guys are liking those YouTube shorts. They're doing pretty well for us. That's Palantir. Just wish we would have got that. And the trade might be over now. This is a good bounce for Palantir, maybe 23.30 right there. We haven't covered AMC, today either, down to 43. Very consistent volume today. A little low right now at 44, but this is not a horrible breaking spot right there at VWAP, 45.25. Let's see if the buyers can come in again on AMC and take this thing a little higher, down another, it's down 10% off of another red day. Yesterday, AMC red again. It's been 6 days in a row or so of AMC, but we're still holding that 40 level. So buyer beware around 40, but if you're holding now, hey, it's another 10% down before you really have to worry when you have a little bit of upside left as well. So AMC.
This stock is absolutely insane, Nick. I just bailed on putting that same trade on, so I don't know. Well, we don't have a paper hands one. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I can't hit diamond hands when Neg just made a push to 70 even. I was like, 70? I mean, I did say, like, what the heck else is there? 70, 75, 100? So 70 goes upside here. I got into position. I was actually short in front of that high of the day. It was like right at that 40 level, and then it goes in that whole state. Now, at that particular moment, just so you guys know, there is actual liquidity. Now that there is actual liquidity a lot of times when it's in that hold state. You have 15 seconds to get out. There's liquidity on the bid if you're looking at the right gateways. You're going to pay a fee to add liquidity, so use like a reverse model gateway to be able to get out. It's an easy way to bail. I did not do that when it was off of this 50 level. I did do that here and got out of this trade at 70. So I'll play the re-entry, the reopen play on Neg at this point. That could be like one of the worst exits here. This is actually open to the downside. You could see this retest like a 58 to 60 level, just because of how far it extended on that candle. You get two in a row where it couldn't hold, and then immediately goes into a hold state very, very quickly. Those are overextending itself for sure. So I might have just covered flat the big one, but at this point in the day, I don't want to turn negative or ruin Neg on one trade, which is entirely possible. Like, it just made sense to me. I was like, when I got that turn, I'm like, there's no way it's going to halt up. This should be flushing off a rejection of 70 even. When it didn't do that and was about to halt upside, I just said run to the hills. I got out on Edge A, this BYX, this Boss X. We'll do a video at some point about those and different access to different gateways. If you don't have access to those, to be able to get out in that 15 seconds, you really shouldn't be trading in front of a halt level like that, for sure. That's something I should say like a million times over.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, try to learn from us, and we talk about stops and halts and everything. And, you don't give back your whole day when you're doing that. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Try to be as conservative as you possibly can be on those trades. That's how you win. We were a little bit greedy here. What else is new with this trade on Morgan, as it goes all the way down to 88.60? Like, I didn't even realize that. Like, that was quite the move, man. We're $1.50 in the money on this $90 name. And it's pretty consistently dropping, so we'll look to get some more out here, as right now, yeah, Ethereum bounces off that 2,400 level again. So we just talked about 2390 a couple minutes ago. Now you're dropping back down here, so watch out. We could break this bottom right now, 2361 on ETH. You could trade ETHE as well if you're looking at something. So that's a name to watch out here with Ethereum looking to break to the downside right now. Crypto all the rage, guys. So watch out. I think the volume is going to be coming back into crypto very, very soon, especially if we test some of these lows.
And just so you guys know, that other VRPX, I'm still watching that one here. It just actually, it just made it open back up and flushing to the downside here. I mean, that's not the setup that I would like, by the way. Like, it's 750 is a bit of a level. It did test it. I wasn't really there to cash the 750 short, but I'd want to see it opening up lower than that. Now halting to the downside, that could be a bit of a trade. And again, you can only get into something like that on a free gateway if you can catch it, but tricky to catch it. I think that gives you maybe like 40 to 50 cents, so that $6 even area. And I've reloaded in Virgin Galactic, retesting that 43 one more time. So we scalp out of that one for like a 50-cent win or 40-cent win and change. Now reloading in front of 43. I'll go one more time. I still want that to really test 43, which it might be doing here, although you guys are going straight to Brendan for Sector Watch.
Hey guys, yeah, and we'll show you a very mixed board once again today. Overall, the market, yeah, back in negative territory once again. 0.14 for the S&P to the downside. You can see checkerboard right across the entire screen at this point. Weakness in the middle, though. Energy stocks specifically, Oxy, Fang, Halliburton, VLO, PSX 3.5 all the way to 4.5% to the downside, as the move to back to the downside continues for oil overall. So watch out for energy stocks to the downside. MKTX here in the diversified financials leading the way for the banks so far, 5.2% to the downside. Schwab is here. There's Goldman. There's Morgan Stanley. STT is here as well, 1.6% all the way through to about 3.5%. So banks very weak. Second day in a row. Far corner over there, consumer staple stocks among the positive signs here so far for the market. This entire group, not huge moves, but helping to offset an otherwise bigger move to the downside. 2% there. Clorox standing out as one of the highlights for the day. You can see if I flip over here to the consumer discretionary group, some of the retailers and some of the household good makers standing out as well. You can see eBay back to the upside today, 1.5%. Gap right above it though, 2.8%. L Brands 1.9% to the downside. Starbucks having a nice day, 1.3% in positive territory. But everything else here, very red, including the travel names, some of the hotels, all of the cruise lines, the airlines, even in negative territory. Industrial stocks mixed as a result. You can see there's the airlines, everything else in this group, all pretty much positive. So a pretty mixed board. Once again today, guys, we said 1.7 or 0.17, I should say, to the downside for the overall S&P. Back over to you.
All righty.
In the words of Starbucks, Miss V and Starbucks, they go hand in hand. I'm gonna hold my head in shame, like Winston Zeddemore said in Ghostbusters. I missed it. I missed neg. Not only did I actually have the short that I told you guys that I, you know what, out of that trade. There's lots of adjectives I can use for getting out of that. On the reopen, that is the perfect setup. Fail break of that halt price and 70 even. What am I doing? Don't need that offer in. It's in a halt state. I'm not going to get filled anyways. But it came back down. I tried to get that one at like 69 and change. I actually chased it, I think, to like 68. And there's a halt down. So that's the big one. Clearly, I'm not in it. I'm still up on neg, but that's the big trade that I'm looking for. That's the reopen fail. That's the number one set that I like, and it really never gave you that trade as golden as here. It's now halted to the downside. I mean, it's a small imbalance. Each time it's been like very, very small imbalances, not giving you an indication of where it's going to go. But the next level you're looking at is the halt price at 58. That's obviously going to be a big one. I would anticipate it is very likely to open in that 58 to like 63 range, although it's not impossible that it just gaps down further. I'm just not seeing a ridiculous amount of sell action that would indicate that yet. But yeah, and we talk about the hits, the misses, and that's going to be a big miss for me, not getting into that trade for sure, because I hunted for it and had like 4 shorts, and then that's the one I missed, really.
Okay, we're not missing this on AMC right now, to the high side right now. Nice little long. We talked about why we like this long, and I know that some of you on the chat also talking about this right now. So there we go to the upside, guys. Nice little move there. We took it out just a little bit. We took out 30 cents there as we've just noticing that we stopped one time at 45.64. Let's see if we can go now. This is going to be the next breaking spot, 46.50. We will get out of the rest of this if it comes back to the downside. So for me, well worth the risk right now on AMC. 30 cents in the money on this one. $1.40 in the money on Morgan Stanley. What's up, Morgan Brennan? As I see you on TV there. And then DD, again, like as it's falling, man, cash. Take it out here at 50. Now we're holding a little small piece. DD may be getting excited backside now again for that trade. But I did want to talk about it. Neil Discipline there gets out of that neg, like you mentioned. That could have gone to 100. And same thing here on Microsoft. This time it works in our favor as well. My favor, you don't want to say ours. We get in trouble sometimes. People think we're team trading, but obviously we're not even in the same stocks. Microsoft right here, this break of 280, look how we've rewarded ourselves. Like you could sit there and hold something, but when you're noticing the NASDAQ, and that's the other thing, like we talked about this going red, right? So look at the NASDAQ going down. That's why we do not hold. We do not need to hold this trade. That's a $2 winner. We cash out. That's called risk management, guys. This is how you have one negative day in May, a one in June, or maybe one in June, maybe none in May, one in June, and we're going to go perfect in July. July is pretty early, but this is how you do it. You have to sometimes just understand that when you have that big winner, like Neil was doing with Neg earlier, you take the winners when they're there. Sometimes you're going to have losing days. It doesn't matter if you go, like I said, 10 wins, 10 losses on a 20-day month, right? That doesn't matter. But your losses need to be less than your winners on your winning days. That's the formula. There's absolutely nothing else. And on that note, it's time to go over to Brendan for the interview of the day.
All right, guys, thanks so much. Yeah, WPP Energy, we mentioned late in the day yesterday. If you joined us yesterday afternoon with news out regarding some cryptocurrency and NFT news with a platform that we're going to talk about. Troy McDonald joining us, COO and CIO of WPP Energy. It's great to see you, Troy. Thanks for jumping on with us today to discuss this news that we mentioned yesterday. It's pretty exciting. Moving into the crypto space along with NFT. Tell us about first off, the shift and also a little bit about WPP Energy.
Sure, very happy to. Nice to be with you today. So us at the WPP Energy, we decided to shift into the blockchain sector several years ago, actually. And the point is we want to distribute our technologies more broadly. So to date, WPP Energy has been focusing on waste-to-energy technologies and a very important new green hydrogen production technology. And we've decided to create a blockchain-based marketplace, which will allow us to distribute the technology better throughout the world. And we'll be distributing technology licenses through NFTs. And we think this is one of the best use cases of NFTs in the world, exclusive territorial and exclusive industry licenses. And we're actually going to be creating a subclass of tokens under each NFT, which will allow the market to fractionally own and participate in the NFT. And the NFTs will be cash flow NFTs. So license fees will be paid out, will be collected and paid out to various token holders as dividends or as returns. And we'll be doing both project NFTs, we'll be doing vertical market NFTs. And we think, as I said, this is one of the best use cases of NFTs we've ever seen.
And we had a look at the WPP token chart there. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But let's discuss the Hi-Fi platform. Tell everyone about Hi-Fi platform.
Yes, exactly. So the Hi-Fi platform is being created and will be deployed by the end of this year. The NFT tokens themselves will be out on the market by the end of September. The Hi-Fi platform was founded really by WPP's founders, with a few outside investors participating in the platform as well. And that platform will allow for the distribution of the NFTs, and it will also provide a marketplace where renewable energy commodities can be transacted as well. And the NFTs that are transacting, you'll be able to get them by certain geographic territory. So we may offer an NFT for the green hydrogen technology for the entire U.S. market, or the Malaysian market, Singapore, whatever market you want to target. And as well, we may do it for an entire industry, such as the marine or the transportation industry. And we think these exclusive licenses, carry very significant economic value.
So this whole NFT craze that we've seen kind of developing over the past, year or even 2 years now, has primarily been focused around collectibles. We've seen the sports industry kind of take advantage of, the NFTs on the collectible side. This is really the first application that we're seeing, as you mentioned, the licensing being available through NFTs. Talk about the significance of, the shift towards the more business side of the potential, anyways, on the business side when it comes to NFT technology.
I'm happy to talk about the shift, but from our perspective, this is the way we see it. So when we look at NFTs, we see them as, a real business case application. So, if you're going to work on a renewable energy project that could be $1 billion or more, per project, one of the best ways to distribute and populate this technology throughout the world is distributed licenses. Not everyone can afford to buy one of these licenses outright. A license for India could be, for example, over $1 billion. But through the NFT marketplace, we can fractionalize and allow many people to participate in the potential of that license for a particular geographic market or a particular industry vertical. This is how we see it. We don't see it in any other smaller way. We believe this is the way NFTs were supposed to be done.
So when it comes to the technology, you mentioned there's multiple different applications that we're going to see start to develop over time here going forward. Talk a little bit about the collaboration between the stock market and some of this blockchain technology.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're in the stock market because we think this business, this NFT business and the renewable energy commodity trading business through Hi-Fi Corp is going to be a very big business, potentially quickly. And access to the U.S. Capital markets will help us accelerate our growth. We'll be able to be in many industries at the same time. We can move laterally. We can move from renewable energy into agri-foods, targeting important technologies in agri-foods and bringing them to market, offering NFTs through there and supporting the commodity trading. This is the primary reason why we've decided to make this initiative a public company. Access to the U.S. capital markets and allow many people to participate in the success of the project.
So when it comes to the technology itself, only the beginning. As we said, the Hi-Fi platform announced yesterday, acquired by the company. What are the future plans when it comes to Hi-Fi?
Well, the future plans are to cross into many different industries. So, within renewable energy, we can cross, starting with hydrogen, we can cross into, waste to energy, we can cross into electromagnetic, low energy nuclear reactions, aka cold fusion, wind, solar, geothermal. We can take this platform and cross into many different market verticals or horizontal markets and make each of those. Essentially, we can become a market maker for each important technology that we sign up through NFT agreements. And we think that the platform stands a very good chance of being able to cross from one market to the other. And the Hi-Fi token will be featured as the governance token on those platforms. And we therefore think that Hi-Fi token has a very good future for it as well, as it serves as the governance tokens for each of those different markets as we move horizontally.
Troy McDonald, COO and CIO of WPP Energy. Exciting news. It's only the beginning, as we said, for this technology in this space. I mean, it's a story that we will and certainly need to follow as things progress. We appreciate your time today and look forward to an update in the future.
Great. Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
There we go, guys. An interesting look at a new application for this technology that we've been discussing for so long now, it seems. Back to you.
Oh, sorry. Look, it's a fantastic interview. I just got into position in neg here, guys, and this has been a ridiculously fast mover. Look, you miss a trade, you got to move on. I have moved on from it. I'm playing off of this halt price here. I always key in on those previous halt prices. This will be 58.20. I saw it fail break through 58.20. Which was the low off of this halt, which was the high on this move where it halted. I got 57.58, so the entry point risk-wise made sense. I saw a bid at 55, so I covered some for about $1.50, almost a couple dollars worth of a win. Now, if it takes out the low, we could be in the midst of another downward halt. I'm gonna hold on to these and give it to that recent high there, guys. So we're now $5 in the money. You've got to be able to, I guess, brush it off. That's honestly, it's going to be an obvious miss for me, and I'm not going to be happy with my lack of execution. And I have an idea what went wrong for me on any GG, and I'll get into that in a bit. But here comes that move, and if it looks like it's going to halt downside, I want to be covering into that potential halt or in front of that 50 level. Here it comes right now. You know what? I'm just not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. You get right back on the horse, go back to the setup that works for you guys. This is an education channel. We just did an interview so you guys can learn all about NFTs. Someone was asking what NFTs are. So you can learn firsthand, of course, from the CEO of a company that has news today. That's what we do. If you've never looked at halt trading, it can be incredibly dangerous and incredibly lucrative, but there are obvious opportunities to be had. This gave me the setup. I play off of halt levels. I told you guys that. I got this one here at 57.50. Obviously, there is no better trade than the one off 69 at the top. I know what happened. I was anchored to the fact that I got in and out off of that high and was unwilling to get a worse price than the one that I gave up on that halt trade, which is stupid. Quite frankly, it was an extra dollar that I could have gone down to chase it and I would have got into position. I didn't do it on neg, but you know what? You brush it off, you look for that next setup, we go right back over to it. I apologize, I know I'm only looking at that one stock. The only other thing I traded here in the last hour was Virgin Galactic, and I covered that at VWAP like I said I would. That 43 level that we've been talking about for a couple of days now, gave you a couple of tests there. I scalped them out in front of resistance or support levels that turned to resistance, I thought. And then the rest out in front of VWAP for a quick little $1.20 winner on that one. So stick to what works for you. Neg is not done by any stretch of the imagination. I highly anticipate that when we come back for this close show at 3:15, because you know we always do, I'll be looking at any GG and that other halt you guys are watching. I think it could be an interesting one there, guys. I will put that trade up on Twitter, and I will also chastise myself for not catching the top on it over and over again, because that's what I love to do.
Yeah, we just did the same thing. Yeah, great trades there. Neg, the space is a great one off that 43 level. I wish I would have saw that as well. Good calls there. We missed getting out. I mean, we did take that 40 or 30 cents there on that first leg of AMC, and then we just missed that out. We talked about where we were looking to target, which was kind of right here, 46.30-ish. I thought that would have been. I mean, I said 46.50 was that level, but we should have took it out there and just not had to worry about this. But I still think it has a chance. It's back to VWAP, so we're back to flat on the trade now. We still want to average into it, and then it'll turn out to be a loser if we do break below this 44.57 there. So that's a play to look at here. As today's just been a very, very big day for us here with Mr. Softy going through, and now the market's starting to bounce back. So yeah, maybe there was some dip buys there. The very, very similar area that we bought Microsoft in the first time was another opportunity to buy it right back. Still not back to our out spot there, but nicely moving to the backside now for Softy. So that's going to be a good play. And there we go. I think we have another bid down here on AMC at 45. So we'll take another bid long here and then see if it wants to get back going. This time we'll take some out at 45.75. If we do get this long, it doesn't look like I'm going to get the long, so I should just punch into it. We're waiting at 45.01 for this, but here it comes back again now. Got to watch out for AMC. We have this spot right here, 44.50, where we're going to get out if this drops against us. Because just again, if we hit 44.50, I think we go to 44. So very, very similar discipline to that Microsoft trade. And then just to recap DT, I mean, I didn't average in. We talked about that at that level. We should have done that at VWAP, and we didn't. So another missed opportunity there. But DT right now, back to the downside. That may be the low. You may want to buy. I mean, I don't know. It depends what you think about Chinese names, but I guess we could check back quickly. Let me check back quickly on BABA here. It's still down today. Okay, I just want to see if some of the Chinese names caught a little bit of a bid. It doesn't look like BABA did. JD is, of course, a NASDAQ name. Did that catch a bid at all today? I'm just waiting. 'Cause I tweeted something out about China today, and that I think that the value is really in a lot of these names. It's just you got to get away from that political headwind, and right now it doesn't look like that's happening. So
neg is reopened. It's still above that $50 level. It could retrace further. Like I got the two setups that I like. I already got to the short side, so I'm not going to be chasing it, shorting it down here, even though it could go further. I missed Tesla. Only 2 minutes to go. Are you kidding me? Tesla comes down to wow, 635 was that breakup price. Literally the last place I added. So, anyways, my latest addition to buying Tesla is now flat. Because it's decided to retest the 50 period, but also that 635 breakout price. So that could have been a turn. I was obviously looking at other things. Apologies. Probably should have covered Tesla or been looking at it a little bit further. I would have likely been looking at that 635 if I'd written down on my list. I just didn't do it and wasn't tracking it. That's a good level for Tesla. The market bouncing back. So I guess no surprise it is trying to hold up here. But that is a big pullback. The rejection of 700. Got to be able to hold this 35 level in the next couple of days for sure. As usual, staring at what the national day is going to make me hungry. Miss V, it's a good one, but it's got to be done right.
Hey guys, I hope you're doing great this morning, and if not really, don't worry, it's a whole day ahead and a lot of successful days also. Guys, we work hard for you every day and do our best, so please make sure you like this video. All we ask you to do is just smash the like button. It takes 1 second, but super important to us. And happy National Macaroni Day, everyone. We usually have it. Right.
We have some macaroni here. That's like a macaroni salad, that should be, because macaroni is such a generic term, but that looks pretty good. I like when they sprinkle in some of those veggies, like those peas and those carrots, things like that. I don't mind macaroni salad. You guys?
You know what? I love, specifically, you said peas. I specifically love peas in macaroni salad, which will annoy the heck out of my wife and my mother. Both of them do not eat peas, so I get my fair share as they pick it up. She makes it for, both of them would make it for me with the peas, even though they didn't eat it. So that's love right there. But macaroni salad, I can gobble it up all day, every day, but it's a good mac and cheese. That goes well with that barbecue. You can't have barbecue without good mac and cheese. That's just the truth.
Yeah, I do see some points here on the chat here. Miss V is not wearing green. Look at the market. Huh? She is the green. No, but not today, Miss V. That's the point. It's red today. Yeah, exactly. So you got reverse jinx right there. But I've already told you to send Miss V some stuff. She wore a nice green dress from one of our viewers yesterday. And apparently there's some more packages coming. So look up on our website if you want to send Miss V some green. If you're worried about your positions and you are superstitious, Brendan, that trend has been true, right? Green, Miss V?
That is clear-cut proof, if anyone needed it, that the trend is real, Miss V.
Is that clear-cut proof? There's no better proof in this world than what we're trying to do right now.
And
with
one day of negativity.
Look, man, traders are allowed to be a little bit superstitious. That's the reality. If it makes you feel better and have more confidence when Ms. V's in the green, then let's be real about it. Let's keep it real. She does have the one dress. Another one couldn't hurt.
I mean, someone asking if we're trading real shares or just paper trading. Yeah, guys. I mean, we are trading real shares here.
Yeah.
Believe me, we don't trade.
If it was paper trading, I wouldn't care that I missed
Well, first of all, if you weren't trading real shares, you probably like a lot. This is another thing. I know we're running late on time. Valeria, don't worry, we'll get to you in a minute. This is the thing. Like, if you're trading real share, not real shares, Neil, you wouldn't be able to get in to those halted trades and things like that, right? Like when they reopen, I mean, a lot of softwares won't even participate in that. So that's how you know we're not trading. Like neg doesn't have options. You know, CFD, like you tell me a company that has a neg CFD, they probably don't. So that's, I mean, if that's not proof enough right now, then it is what it is. We are going to be welcoming, I don't know, if eventually when traders come back here, we don't know what that policy is going to be. But trust me, guys, we are trading real shares here. And if you don't believe it, that's fine. Even if it's fake shares, what's the difference? We're making that money for you. Hopefully you enjoy yourself. But I always have to talk about that.
Exactly. And look, it's all about learning around here, guys. And I'll even say, guys, as much as it's a great stock and there's been opportunities, just be careful. Trade your own book. There's no rule saying you have to trade the most volatile stock in the market, even if the opportunities are there. Stick to what works. You see Sean do that every single day. You see me sort of stick to the setups that work for me. And we talk about the setup of Miss V wearing the green being a good one. That's why we wanted to get her some more green clothing so we can get this positive. Although it's very, very slightly negative on the day, we are back at 315.
Come on, Miss V.
Do not go too far because the close is going to be a good one. Remember, Fed minutes at 2. The market is going to move. We're going to be back for that, for the entire team, for Valeria, for Brendan. A fantastic interview as always. I'm Neil Robertson for Sean Cantina. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you at the close. Go England, go Lions.